following program is hosted by immature, irreverent, obnoxious, and often disgusting young men. Listener discretion is advised.
This time on Nude Clan, we're going to review Modern Warfare, or as I call it, Tom Selleck and the Angry Strings.
Shall we play a game?
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Nude Clan, the video game podcast where we make jokes that don't make sense. So here's why I called it that. At first, it was Tom Selleck and the Angry Cello, because the fucking cello? Yeah, the soundtrack, it's like heavy cello, like rage. You know what I mean? It's really good.
Cello rage.
Yeah, and I was like, that
should be a musical type.
Yeah.
There's already cello metal bands.
Is there really?
Yeah,
there's already. Know.
Did you notice that though? Sometimes the cello is just like fucking like it's so heavy. And I'm like, man, this is pretty fucking metal for a cello. Like, I'm impressed.
Yeah,
it's a big fucking instrument, so I mean, it makes sense that it can get bassy like that. But damn.
I mean, yeah. I mean, that's what it's for.
Yeah, I used to. That was actually the first instrument I learned, but I was really young, so I definitely can't play it now.
Yeah.
I was like fucking 10 or something, so I was an idiot, and I was dumb, even dumber for not continuing to play an instrument and have that enrich my life. But yes, Modern Warfare, Tom Selleck and the Angry Strings. That's the band name. That's that guy's band name. This game is about that band.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Kind of. Yeah. It's more about his backup guy, who's actually the main guy of the entire Modern Warfare.
It's more about
series,
him going through some events that makes him...
I would have called it, Captain Price and the Avengers
become
Initiative.
A traitor to his country and start supporting a resistance movement. But it somehow gets fixed in the middle there.
Wait, who?
Tom Selleck, dude, Alex.
Oh, yeah, yeah. See, Craig the other day, he said something about Price being the general in Modern Warfare 2 who betrays everybody.
I thought it was, but it wasn't. It's that other guy.
Yeah, I can't remember what that guy's name is. That part was crazy, though, because he kills, like, Ghost and all the cool dudes that you've been playing as for, 5 hours, and you're just buried in a fucking hole. But yeah, I really do like the Modern Warfare storyline. I never played the original one, so I liked 2
first
and
Modern
3.
Warfare?
Yeah, I never did.
You never
No, I never played it. I know what happens after, though. 2 and 3 I played, and I know what happens.
Modern Warfare 2
1.
is great, but yeah, the story's still in the first Modern Warfare. It's good. You should play it.
Yeah,
because there's a special scene. He does make references back to that first Modern Warfare, but we don't want to talk about that yet.
At the very end, yeah, him putting his team together. I didn't know.
I said we're not going to talk about it yet because that's the fucking Easter egg.
Just kidding.
Jesus,
I don't know what you're talking about. It is, and it's such a cock tease because they marketed it as
so good. They know how to play on our nostalgia right.
They marketed it as a reboot, but it's not. It's a fucking prequel. I mean, it is a reboot of the style of game.
To me, it is a reboot, and they're starting much earlier. But we're going to get the next story soon where he
think so?
Yeah,
I'm fine, and I'm fine with that because the stories have gotten kind of dumb, And
I mean, we were talking a little bit about entertainment and how they'll look at current world events. We were talking about that on After Dark. You guys will hear it on Wednesday.
Yeah,
but what made the Modern Warfare series originally good and what's making it good now is just how applicable it is to the current day.
Exactly, yeah.
And so that's why doing this reboot is great, because they took a great idea, keeping some of the same names, some of the same characters, but now applying it that raw feeling to today.
And that's why you can reboot a series like that, because it's still applicable, and you can make it applicable. It's why South Park is so popular and why it's still around. Is because
it's more or less now becoming a political comedy than more than it was before. But that's why you get TV series reboots. Jack Ryan again is on Amazon. I like it,
and it's relevant,
very relevant to today. I mean, beforehand you got the Jack Ryan films and stuff like that. The one with what's his name? The newer Jack Ryan film with Chris Pine as lead. It was okay. I didn't like it as much. Yeah. But if you can go back and watch, Claire and Present Danger and stuff like that. I love the book Claire and Present Danger. But being able to take that type of an idea and reboot it to fit today's themes is great, because you're going to get people watching it because of how close it is.
Yeah, and I don't know, for shooters, I think their story is actually pretty decent, honestly. And I made a joke to Craig the other day. I said that Treyarch coming to the table with Black Ops 4 with online only is like Cameron showing up to an episode with nothing, without a plan at all. It's like, so what's the game about? Oh, well, it's just the multiplayer. What do you mean it's just the multiplayer? Well, I mean, that's what everyone plays it for anyway. It's like, well, yeah, but you got to have a story. It's like, well, sorry, we don't have a story, so Black Ops 4 online only. And it's like, oh.
How about that Battle Royale?
Yeah, it's those episodes that we did early on. So today we're going to talk about this thing for 5 minutes. And that's what Black Ops 4 was to me. I never played it, so I don't know if it's fun. And honestly, COD is mostly about the online.
Yeah.
To be sure, but it still feels fucking cheap.
I feel like this new one has the most people who've actually played through the campaign, and just looking at the trophy stats,
some of the other
only
ones,
like a third.
See, this is how they do it. They put stuff in the game that causes controversy, which then in turn causes more people to play it.
What was really controversial in there, though? I didn't really
children dying in this game.
You don't remember that whole scene where, as Gaz, though maybe he didn't decide to do it, where as Gaz you have the butcher, you're interrogating him, and then you pull his fucking family out of a van and bring them into the interrogation room.
Yeah, you did that. I did that.
And threaten to kill them or kill them.
Yeah, you could kill them. You have the option.
I shot, and it didn't do anything. There was nothing.
What did you shoot at?
You shoot the first time you shoot, yeah.
Yeah. What did you shoot at?
I shot at the kid.
Of
course I shot at the kid.
Fuck,
gotta hit him where it hurts the most, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Craig's like, are we interrogating him, or are we playing with his balls here? What are we doing?
So I shot at the wall right above the kid, because I'm like, well, maybe I can just like shoot something and it makes him panic and stuff like that. But it's like, no bullets, whatever. Oh, we're going to give him ammo. And then after you finally do get the information out of him, did you finish off the butcher?
No, I just left.
I left him too, and then I thought about it today or last night, and I was like, fuck that guy. I should have killed him.
I mean,
he's a terrible
person.
When
I try to play games like that, I try to put myself in the point of view of the character I'm playing. And yeah, Gaz wouldn't
didn't kill him because Bryce was like, let's go.
No, but it leaves it up to you. Like, it totally leaves it up to you. And so I was leaving, and I was walking out, and I went to the van. I'm like, am I just going to leave him here? I'm like what? And so I quickly turn around and I just fucking capped him down from a hallway away. Just turned around, just poof, and then I got in the car and left.
He did a lot of terrible things. So like,
exactly. And I'm like, am I just going to leave this guy here?
Yeah,
like the character I'm playing as has more than enough reason.
Exactly.
And he's like, no, I'm taking the gloves off. You're going to get blood on you type of thing. I'm like, this character would totally smoke this dude.
Yeah.
Which is why Price wants him on his team later.
Exactly, and that event is what this guy did, like the whole Piccadilly attack thing. Was organized by him.
Exactly,
and that was his rage.
I mean, to me, it felt like it was part of the character. He would not have killed the wife and child, but he would have totally killed Butcher.
Yeah, and that's what makes it interesting. So I think they are pretty decent stories, though. Honestly, for most of the Call of Duty games, some of them get kind of stupid, but I kind of want to catch up on those this year too, because I need like Black Ops 2, 3, Ghosts.
But as far as like scenes that were as disturbing as some of the previous Modern Warfares, I still don't think the game had something to the level as the airport scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was fucking intense.
No Russian. Man. Yeah, that's a pretty crazy mission.
Just fucking open firing and killing everyone in
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah, but there's still some like intense scenes. But,
The first second of opening the game up, this like terrorist van stops in front of this kid and his dad, and like it just cuts to the fucking game, and I'm like, Jesus Christ! They're starting off like, oh yeah, by the way, kids are gonna die, and yeah.
Well, I mean, while you're walking through the gas when you're playing as like young Farah or whatever her name is, you see like a bunch of dead kids like laying on the ground.
Yeah, so it's pretty crazy in ways, but I think you're right.
But doesn't have you be the one who does it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But well, let's just review it here, right? But before we get into more of that, what remains of it at least? What have you guys been playing this week?
I've played a little bit of Modern Warfare, and I played some Star Wars Fallen Order, and I played a bit of that MMO Black Desert.
Oh yeah, I heard you guys playing that BDO. That's how is that? I've never touched it.
It's all right. It's kind of not optimized for consoles yet, so it's a little.
That's what I saw on YouTube.
It's a little janky, but
they're like, "Oh, Cameron, we're all going to get in this MMO. You should join." I'm like, "Ah, god damn it!" Like I got on in the Neverwinter. I put some time to that. I put some love in that, and they all left. And I don't know. I just like don't feel like getting into another MMO. And the play style looks to me. The playstyle, like the moves that people do, just looks too repetitive, and it just sucks. It just gets you sucked into a grind trap, and I hate games that just have you grind and grind and grind.
Yeah, I saw Cody play it when I went over for his wedding. He had it open, and I was like, "Oh, what's that, Cody?" And he's like, "Oh, it's Black Desert Online." I was like, "Oh, how's that?" And he's like, "Oh, it's pretty fun." And I was like, "Oh, what's going on?" And we walked over, and his horse was just like. He was just on his horse riding, and I was like, so what's this? He's like, oh, I'm leveling up my horse. And I'm like, I don't want to play that game. I was like, I don't want to play a game where, like, oh, yeah, I got to leave the horse running on the map for days on end to level the horse up. Like, it was something like that, and it was just moving, and I was like...
It just makes it so, like,
playing.
It can have more stamina and shit like that.
Yeah, that's not playing the game. That's letting the game beat itself off while you watch. Like that's a mobile game.
Well,
that's
was
what
how
mobile games do.
He was playing it.
Yeah, but I mean, if that's the way to get your shit up to where it needs to be, I don't think I want to play that game.
Yeah,
so,
I haven't really needed a horse, and I could.
I might be convinced just because I like playing team games and playing games together.
Yeah,
but it's like after you might get the whole gang together like a couple of times and that's it, and otherwise you're just fucking grinding.
I bought it because it was like $15, and it was like one of those.
So is there
it's pretty different from other MMOs? So I was like, yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Is there like a in-game economy? Like how do items work? So just tell me real fast.
Don't know.
Like you level up your character, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you also have a gear level or something you need to get to?
Yes, I believe there's like a gear level, but that's only for like late game shit, and I think it's only after you hit the max level, which is like 50 or 60.
Cameron's like, sell me on the game, and Craig's, I can't actually do
if
that.
There is an
I've played to like level 26, and I still have no idea
if
what's
there
going
is
on.
an in-game economy, I might be swayed.
There is. Apparently you can like invest money into like certain things, and you get more money over time through the businesses and shit, and then you can also like if you level up weapons and whatever, you can put them on like the marketplace because it has one of those things like Neverwinter did, but you like get more money from it. So you can just generate a fuckload of money through both the in-game economy thing, which people have like trade routes because you can buy carriages to like carry your stuff through places.
Now this is the stuff that sells me on it.
Yeah, that apparently that's there, but I haven't gotten to that yet because I think you need to be pretty high up.
I think
before you start doing that shit.
I think that stuff is the one thing that Conan Exiles. If it had, there would be no coming out of that game. It would just
Conan
be there
Exiles. If all they fucking did was implement a trading system where I could sit like Russ, I could set up a fucking shop and let people come by and buy resources off of me.
Yeah, or straight up items. Yeah,
alone would make that game so much better.
Yeah, way better than mounts or anything that they've added recently. Like an economy, that would be like there'd be no kid. I would never be able to get out of that fucking
Dude,
game.
if they had a bunch more like random towns and the world was a little bit bigger, and then you could like buy a place in town or like buy property in the towns or farmland.
Except when you walk in the
be,
town, you're just
awesome.
like, what is this? A city built for ants?
Yeah.
Like all the fucking doors and everything is too small.
Yeah, I
and-
don't really understand that, but like if it was like bigger towns, like the Witcher kind of towns.
Yeah.
Maybe not so much being able to purchase properties within the town, but maybe have some sort of like actual trade system. Because in the game, sorry guys, another Conan distraction. In the game, you can make money. You can press gold. You can make silver.
You can literally make money.
And
I know.
You can buy stuff from people.
You can, but it's mostly fucking worthless.
It's like food and stuff.
And then there's no reason to trade gold with other clans because what you'd use gold for is just like you use that to like make gold dust for other stuff. That's what gold's for. Gold is a resource to use, not something that retains value for trading.
Yeah.
And
The
so
trade is
there's
worthless.
no reason for gold or silver coins, in my opinion, because you're just going to fucking turn that into a resource that you can actually use.
Yeah.
So if they actually add a currency to the game that makes sense to keep as a currency, like maybe if we set up a barter system somehow to make gold a valuable thing in of itself to keep as coinage, maybe.
Yeah.
But some overhaul would need to happen in order to add that kind of economy to the game. But mostly, even if you're not talking about gold and stuff like that, like if I could just set up a shop and just fill that full of star metal and stuff like that, black ice and all sorts of stuff, because I have a favorite base location that's pretty close to all that. I'll go spend like hours collecting all that shit after building my base and then just selling it to people who don't want to go spend the time mining it.
Yeah, that's
because really it's you're paying me for the time to go collect them for you.
And that's where it gets to the level of like RuneCraft or RuneScape was, not RuneCraft. Where I played it, and when I discovered the economy in there, dude, I was obsessed with that fucking game. Like, it was all day. I'd get home from school, and I would just sit on that fucking computer and, like, mine for hours, and then get my level higher and higher and higher, and make better and better equipment, and then sell it. And I was like,
these guys think the game's about fighting high-level bosses. It's about making fucking money.
That's right.
And, like, dude, like, oh, man, I finally have the best pickaxe in the game, just fucking mining that rune ore.
Yeah,
Ooh,
dude.
Yeah.
It took so long to get there, but like everything
and
you
then
sold was just ridiculous.
Stacks and stacks of that shit. Just walk in, see if other people are selling rune ore, just undercut them just a little bit. You just start raking in the fucking gold. Talk about just being able to walk in and just buy items you want now. Oh, man.
Yeah, RuneScape was the best for that because it had non-PvP areas, so you couldn't kill each other. Like, Rust, the problem with Rust is you could just fucking kill whoever you're shopping with or whoever's shopping with you, right? But if we did it that way in Conan, where you had like no PvP zones, where it was where you sell, it would be so fucking cool.
That game just taught you so much about life. Taught you about capitalism and the rewards of hard work. It taught you about how you shouldn't trust people online. People lie. Hey, come join me over in blah blah blah. We're gonna go do some stuff. Okay, cool. And they just kill you as soon as you're out of the no PvP zone.
Yeah.
Like, oh, man, maybe I can't trust people at face value. And then if you're on super late, you find this wonderful group of Australians on. You just join up with them and have a whole bunch of fun, and they turn out to be great guys, and they give you some cool stuff.
Yeah, that was a really cool game.
Back in the early ages of the internet, we could just make friends with people online.
Yeah, now all we can do is just hate people, right? That was a lot of fun, though. That was a good game. And that's the thing that it has over the one game that I really like for every other reason. It's like, fuck. If it had the economy, dude, you'd never see me again. That or if, like, Resident Evil Outbreak was remade.
Economy of Black Desert Online.
I don't know how it works. You'll have to ask Branny.
Yeah.
I don't think he knows how it works just yet.
He's been looking into all that stuff. So.
Oh, fuck. That sounds really cool. Trade routes and stuff. That's like, ooh, I like that. That sounds good.
Yeah, you see people driving their carriages around all the time. So
nice.
Can you set NPCs to drive caravans for you?
Yes, I think you can like hire maids and things to like do stuff.
It's
and then you can like buy a house.
It's so funny because like
towns.
A lot of times in these games, you play like the I don't know, like the messianic hero of the society, but all we want to do is be a fucking NPC. Like all we want to do is make like an empire of fucking
Black Desert. I'm pretty sure you're
become
like,
a slum lord.
I'm pretty sure that in Black Desert you're the bad guy.
Oh, really? Oh, that's kind of cool.
Because there's like a black spirit that's like part of your body, and there's like 3 different storylines you can go down, and I think we chose the one where the dark spirit becomes the devil.
Oh, you just have like
fucking has you kill everyone.
Is your inner voice just like a super stereotypical black man? You're the inner darkness. You said the inner black. It's just like, man, what are you doing?
It's literally called the Black Spirit.
It's like it's
touch me.
Yeah,
Touch me harder.
come on, man, touch me more. It's just some like super. It's the guy who voices Barrett in FF7's remake. Like how that over the top, like just stereotypical black guy voice, like in your head all the time, just like denigrating everything you do, just like looking down on you, like, man, why are you doing that shit? Come on, faster. And that's the black spirit inside. Is that what you're telling me? Or is it not nearly as cool as that?
He's unintelligible. You can only understand him via subtitles.
Oh, well, wait. Are you talking about the black guy or the actual one?
The Black Spirit.
Oh, okay. I was like, he doesn't have to have that crazy of a voice where you can't understand him. It doesn't have to be jive or anything.
This game is like from
Is
Korea.
it jive? Oh, it's not jive because it's Korean. Never mind. How fucking cool would that be? It's jive, and you're like, man, I can make out like one out of...
I could understand jive. I can't understand the nonsensical thing they got him speaking because it's not Korean.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah, it's just about economy. Then Conan has everything else, just being able to build stuff, find resources. They just need to add a way to monetize your time in game.
Yeah,
just wait till I get you guys to play Yakuza 0. You're gonna.
But see,
love
Yakuza 0 is still just a single player game. I wanted to economy that,
but you're gonna love it.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah, that's the thing that the guy at work.
There's 2 businesses that you run in that game, where you make money, and everything in that game is about making money.
Yeah,
but
including your abilities, you purchase them with money.
I mean, the thing is like it's like Assassin's Creed 2 has a cool economy in it, but we're talking about something way cooler than that. That's very fixed. That's like very strict in its rules. This is we make the rules. We could just corner the market to the point where you can't get it elsewhere, and we become like evil. We would create like almost like a kind of a crony capitalism system. It's not really. It's like a monopoly. That's what we create.
Yeah.
We create a monopoly, so you have to buy from us.
It's usually if you do this on public servers on Conan, it's usually something that you don't do because you'll get raided if you do it. But building a base and walling off an important resource.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do it. Nothing prevents you from fucking walling off all the brimstone.
Other than people trying to kill you. That would be fun to do that. Like, it just reminds me of fucking Craig over in Age of Empires, like seeing his little wooden fence covering his gold, and I'm like, what's going on over here, Craig? It's combined with like 30 knights. Like, I don't like this.
The way to do it now, the way to do Conan to get that going. And you know what? I wouldn't mind when we set up our PvP server for the admin to just make a whole, just add a whole bunch of map rooms to his inventory, and then place a map room next to every obelisk, and then to place map rooms next to all the valuable resources as a way to fast travel. But then you still lose everything on death.
That's a good idea.
Just to create a network of map rooms to get you back to all the obelisks, but then map rooms next to resources, so even if you're overburdened with stuff, you can quickly travel back to where your base is at.
I think that's another cool idea we can add, because we want to make it less grindy.
So less grindy, and so adding map rooms everywhere and next to important locations is great. But then resource gain, maybe with resource gain we don't tweak it too much.
Yeah, level 60 though. I
because
think that's
we want to make raiding worth it.
Yeah, if you make the resources super high, then it's not worth it. You just
but then that's give and take too. Because explosives and explosive arrows have high resource cost, and you don't know whether or not, if you're raiding this place, if it has the resources to raid that equals or exceeds the amount of resources you had to use to get in there.
Yeah, that's true.
And so we want to make it to where resources, it's you want to go attack. We want to encourage it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we don't want to make it too easy.
Yeah, we'll have to play around with it. I'm excited to get into that, though.
So as soon as we do that, I'm going to hop on to Conan.
Well, we took out the frost guy, and we're planning on Monday to take out at least one, maybe two more bosses. So we're working on it. Okay. And Roxo is to the point where he's tired of fucking building because our base got absolutely plundered last time, and like we lost tons of gold dust and tons of like demon blood in those stones to make the map rooms. We almost had a second map room. Like we were getting pretty close.
Yeah.
And they destroyed the fucking cauldron that had it all. And so, like, our will to play was almost gone for a little while.
Are you guys not using tier 3 building materials for walls?
He built it on filth is what happened.
He used sandstone as the foundation, and he had it raised up.
But, yeah.
And so that's what they were doing. They were attacking the raised up sandstone.
Yeah.
So every tier 3 wall was destroyed.
We didn't realize that.
Never build with sandstone because sandstone can take damage from just weapons, normal weapon attacks.
Yeah.
Now, stone is okay, but if just don't waste resources of time gathering stone for stone walls. Just fucking don't build a main base until you can make tier 3 materials. That's how you play Conan competitively. You level up until you can fucking build tier 3 walls and don't build anything else.
But here's what happened. We both were talking about this, and we both came to the same conclusion of like, he's like, well, I can make these really nice walls, like black ice.
Yes, tier 3.
Like, should I do it? And I'm like, well, we're not playing against anybody, so it's not a big deal. And then the thrall gods came down and struck us they put us on our knees and destroyed us because like he logged off when it started, and he was like, oh, well, I have to go. And then we come back, and it's like fucking half of a wall is gone. Like, because if you take out the base, like the top just goes.
Stability.
And so we had good walls, but we had shitty sandstone foundations. We didn't realize that was going to fuck us because we were like, well, why build the extra stuff if we're playing PvE? And the reason is the fucking thralls will destroy all of your shit.
I should have just joined and become the
builder. Yeah, I know.
No, not the builder. Just the fucking crazy dude who lives out in the woods and comes down to raid you guys because you're using fucking sandstone foundation. Steal all your shit.
Teach us a lesson.
Steal all your shit, and then you try to find my base, but then by the time you finally do find it, it's going to take so many of your resources just to crack it, because I don't fuck with tier 1 or tier 2 building. There's no point. There's no reason to.
Yeah. You might as well just make a small little enclosure to sit in for storms and warmth and then sleep, and that's it. Everything else you can just stick outside. You don't even need to have a house to put things on. Like,
no.
So we both fucked up, and we didn't realize until now that it was as dire as it is. So now what we're doing is we're just like, well, we're crafting good equipment, and we're just going and killing bosses.
You guys forget, it's just like, I spent so much fucking time in the game, like building bases and building defenses. Like, I came up with this whole fucking foundation or /wall/pillar walls, where I don't know if you can still do it. They might have taken this out of the game, but basically you try to get your foundations for your walls to be below the ground, right?
Yeah.
And then you put walls, just normal walls, up above, to be your main wall. Then on the inside you can put pillars, and in between the pillars you can put fences, and and then on the other side you could do another wall, but then on the walls themselves you can put fences. And so you're talking about so much fucking health just to get through one wall.
Yeah, because the palisade things, you're just getting fucking
And then you can have
bored.
palisades on the outside, but palisades burn away real fast. Palisades are never like the main line of defense. And then when I was building my castle, I was building all sorts of like fucking traps where I would build up to a door, and there'd be like a little walkway, like a porch area outside of the door, which would be made of sandstone. And I would have that sandstone super low health, right? And so if they were to ever place a bomb next to the door to blow through the door, they'd actually just blow the sandstone away and then fall down to a moat of fucking palisades underneath.
Oh, yeah, because it'd blow up under them. And oh, man, that's pretty funny. And they just fucking die because you can't take a step without getting... You actually, if you stay still, you'll still die in palisades because it'll still bleed you over and over and over. Fuck, that's evil, man. Fucking...
And so that's what. So that's why.
And all your shit's gone too.
Fucking the climbing system in this game and fucking fire arrows or bomb arrows.
Yeah,
they really do make it some of the things kind of stupid. Like because I would build sandstone steps up to a door, and so if you try to blow up the door, you'd blow up the steps before you'd blow up the door. But you could just fucking shoot arrows at the door until it's gone, and then climb up.
That's true.
And so it's kind of hard in that sense, which is why pillar bases are still the most OP version of bases you can do.
What I want to do is just I want Craig to come out of his house and like there's just like 10 of us clinging to the walls of his home, and like once he gets out of the doorway, we just fucking drop down and just fucking punch him to death.
I don't know if I told you this story, but I had this whole thing planned where I'd join the server, no one would know, right? And then I'd fucking grind out resources and stuff and quickly get to level 60 because I can do that in a day. But it's like all day long.
Yeah.
And then I would grind out resources for bombs and bomb traps. Not just bombs, but bomb traps, right? And so after I get all my resources done, I'd kind of like study your guys'... I'd find out where you were on the map, study your movements and stuff, and see which routes you took to go mine certain resources. And so what I would do is wait to see one of you go off to collect a certain resource that I wanted and let you guys do all the mining and stuff like that. And while you're doing the mining, I'd set down all of the bomb traps along the path, right? Just because you put them in the ground. And if you know what to look for, you could see them. But if you're just like, grinding, need to go back to base, right? You're not really looking for it. And most of those bomb traps are one-shot kills. And so basically lace IEDs along your route and have the person come back from doing the thing, they're mining and stuff, and then walk into my bomb trap, right? And if it's more than a couple people, they're walking back, and one of them just gets exploded, they die. The other person's like, oh, what's going on? And then I come out of the fucking bushes on my horse and then run them down. Oh, man, it was so beautiful in my head. I wanted to execute it. I didn't tell you about that plan the whole time, but it would have been so perfect if it was correct. Just the outrage he'd have.
Yeah.
Of spending hours collecting resources just for me to steal it.
You already told me that plan, so I would have known.
That or like my other fantasy with Craig and Conan is...
God damn it.
But
he's
people.
He's like, it's a sandstorm. He's in there like super underutilized, like he's super low level, and I'm just out there like clinging to the wall, and he looks out his window and all he sees is my face, just like fucking waiting, just like I'm like 3 stories high holding onto the wall, just staring in.
Yeah, the climbing system I think is just the climbing system I feel is it's broken. It just makes getting into bases too easy.
Yeah, it's fun and it's funny, but it's pretty broken.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to get to certain places in the game without it, but
yeah.
I feel like ladders should be more of a useful thing because there's really no difference from climbing on a ladder versus climbing on a wall. It still takes your stamina to do it. But being able to build super long ladders would make like assailing, like doing castle sieges super fun. Like you could climb normal walls, but maybe it burns through your stamina too fast.
Yeah.
You end up falling, but if you have a ladder that you could place up against a wall, then you could climb that up most of the way.
That would be cooler. Yeah.
I feel like that would benefit the game, but just me.
Yeah.
And welcome to 30 Minutes of Conan.
Yeah. So what have you been playing this week, Cam?
Only Modern Warfare.
Twice.
I did play Conan. I did take out a boss, or no, we took out 2 bosses. One of them was a trophy boss, and one of them was just a guy that I found because I fell beyond the trophy boss. It was like a dragon down in a pit under the.
Another thing I wanted to do is
giant.
when you guys logged off, is to put a whole bunch of those explosive traps around your base. And then when you log back on, you just like, there's a minefield around your base. I just wanted to fuck with you guys so bad.
Well, we can do that as soon as we finish.
Okay.
There's that, and then I played a ton of Modern Warfare. I played a lot online, and then I was like, you know what, I should probably start this game because we're reviewing it. And I almost got the platinum. I have like 3 more trophies, I think. It's pretty easy. The one I'm doing is the only tough one. It's like,
which one was that?
Kill all the people in the church, the pool, and the house without anyone noticing, and you have to kill every person. And I keep missing people, I think is what it is. So I'm going to follow this guy's video, like, step by step and just do it.
Okay, yeah.
I played a bunch of that, and then I think I played like 10 or like half an hour of Lego Jurassic World again. Just kind of playing around in there with Jace. And then I think I played Carnival games for a little bit too. You know, the usual. The platinum on that is actually pretty brutal.
Oh yeah, does it require like a bullshit amount of points?
Yeah, it requires you to do 20 world circuits, which is all 20 games, and against 3 hard AI players and win. And it's all 20 games. So you can't choose 20 games. You have to play every single game and get enough.
Do you have to win every time or just win the most?
No, it's just like any racing game where you get points for your place.
Okay.
But so I'm not very good at all of those games, and the AI will fuck me over. So I don't know if I could even win one of those, let alone 20. But the other trophies are pretty doable. Some of them are like they require a lot of skill and maybe even co-oping just to make things get done faster. But most of that game is going to be really easy, just to fucking mop up a retarded amount of bronze trophies just for almost no effort. So that's kind of why I'm playing it, honestly.
Yeah, of course.
All right, so we know what everyone's been playing this week, but the real question is the only question: have any of you guys beaten a game this week?
Yeah, I beat Star Wars Fallen Order.
Okay, Star Wars Fallen Order. You know, I had a new one. Where did it go? 2019.
Did you not save it?
Yeah, the only thing on there was my Fire Emblem.
I guess I can just do a new one. All right, so you had Fire Emblem.
Yep, Fire Emblem 3 Houses, and now Fallen Order.
And then Fallen Order. All right, Cameron?
Modern Warfare.
Okay. And I also beat Modern Warfare. So the Nude Clan Hog is as follows for the hosts. Caleb Craig, King Hog, 2 games. Cameron and I tied for last place or second place with 1 game each. So very exciting. I told Craig that he can't honestly review this game because he beat it last year, but he didn't care about that apparently. Because it was like, 2 weeks ago or something like that, like 3 weeks ago.
It was
maybe?
like the beginning of December.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a month ago.
Oh, there you go. All right, sweet. Let's get into it. So, Modern Warfare is a...
We're not going to do the trailer?
Oh, yeah, shit, you're right. We should probably do the trailer.
Should we? Should we do the trailer?
Yeah. Yeah, let me pull it up.
You feeling it? Do 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 do.
That's a multiplayer reveal.
Well, isn't that all we care about, though? Here we go. Story trailer. Tom Selleck.
20 years of civil war.
There's nothing simple about it.
This is bigger now. Chemical weapons have fallen into terrorist hands. They could be anywhere.
We need to move fast.
What do you suggest?
A business trip. Farah! Let's talk! I need your help.
Because of this poison, my people have known something worse than war.
Help us track it.
If you stay, we can help you. But if you stay, you fight.
Yelling out to.
The invaders of my country have no regard for human life. We live like this every day.
Any further complications and we're at war.
We're breaking through now. We need a new extraction point fast.
Save yourself, daughter. Join us.
I lead soldiers. You train killers.
But we are all killers here. No?
How about you, Captain? Are you gonna let them die?
Chemical weapons are now in the wild. Fix it.
Where do we draw the line, sir?
You draw the line. No, sir! Stop! Wherever you need it. What the hell is this?
It's the off switch. We're all just pawns in this.
Well, you speak for yourself.
This is crazy.
Yeah, but we're a little crazy, aren't we? The rules of engagement have changed. If you can't identify the target, you are the target.
Yes. Call of Duty Modern Warfare is a soft reboot of the Modern Warfare series, released October of 2019. I didn't realize it was that old. I guess they always come... I thought they came out with them in November. Well, like, I felt like it was... No, I guess that's about right. They usually come out with them in, like, the beginning of November.
Well,
it's mostly around fall is when they come out.
Yeah, fall to winter. Yeah.
It's because they want to be like right before Christmas, and they want to have like a big setup for people to join into.
Yeah. So the game is, like I said, it's a soft reboot of the entire Modern Warfare series, and I thought it was a full on reboot at first, and I guess we'll talk about that as we go on. So it follows officers from the CIA, the British SAS forces, and they kind of combine to take out some Russian shit that's going on. And it's weird. It's kind of like, it's really like we talked about on After Dark, which you won't hear yet. But it's the thing about these Call of Duty, especially in the Modern Warfare series, is like it is very modern, and so it deals with a lot of the issues that we have right now with like unstable areas.
Well, as far as the Russians that you do fight, it was hard to like know the line of whether or not it was like the main, Russia itself doing these things and having someone do it, and they just have a fall guy, or if it's like this one general dude who's doing it all on his own without oversight from the Russian government.
Yeah.
I don't really know where that part is. Because can you distinguish his force separately as like a kind of a terrorist force, or is it Russia?
They kind of made it seem in the story like it was sanctioned by Russia, because like every action that you took against him, that chick was like, you gotta fucking stop it.
Yeah, because you were killing Russians, and yeah, they're gonna notice that.
Yeah, but if the fucking Russians didn't know he wasn't doing that, they would have been like, hey, he's a fucking terrorist, take him out. We don't give a shit about this guy. But they kept him on, so they knew it was happening. That's like part of the point.
Okay.
Yeah, so the
because,
game...
I mean, okay, never mind. Keep going. I can bring it up later.
Okay, so it starts out in our current year, 2019, and there's a covert op to recover shipments of chemical gas that are headed to Urzikstan. And the guy that I call Tom Selleck, his name's Alex, he gets intercepted by a bunch of unknown people. We don't really know what's going on, because we're stopping the gas. We're trying to like cut them off, and then we get cut off by other people who are trying to stop and take the gas, and we don't know what the fuck's what's what. And then we find out they're Russian, and so it's a really weird situation.
So that beginning situation, it's weird because we knew the gas was Russian at that point, right?
Yeah,
like at the very beginning, and
we were going in there to take it away from, I guess, the people the Russians were going to go give it to.
No, I think it was
we
Middle
discovered
Eastern.
It by like accident or something.
Yeah,
we were doing something else there, and then we thought they were terrorists, and then all of a sudden it was Russians with gas, and it was like, oh shit.
But I thought it was the Russians that were also coming in to take it. Like I think it was just Middle Eastern dudes making it. Dudes from that
the
country.
Russians were the ones making it, because there's that later mission like where Alex dies, where they're making it in that Urzikstan place. They set up. That Russian general took over Urzikstan so he could start making the gas there.
Oh, okay. Well, then wasn't it Russian people taking it from Russians? It was, yeah, because They basically kill your whole team except for your guy, and then like a couple dudes in Russian, like they realize like, oh shit, these are Americans, because they thought it was just the people they were taking it from, and they thought that you were just there because you're defending it.
Yeah.
And then they kill everybody but you, and then they stop before they kill you, and they're like, oh my God, this is America. Like, we got to get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Because they don't want to embroil themselves in a war, right?
Right.
They're just trying to take this gas. They don't want us to be involved whatsoever. It's really interesting the way they played that out in the beginning, where it was like the death of your teammates was accidental, and they didn't realize what they were doing. They just wanted the gas, and they acknowledged that, oh, this is not a good thing, and then they took off. So then we get introduced to Price, and they're basically trying to de-escalate the situation with Russia because it's obviously a big problem. And then like a day later, there's a terrorist attack on the Piccadilly Circus in London. So then we get introduced to another character. His name's Kyle. He's the black British guy in the game, and he's basically sent to contain the situation because they know it's happening. They had the intel.
So they knew. Yeah, they had the intel for a long time. They knew an attack was happening, and they were finally just making a move the same day the terrorists were making a move.
Yeah, and it goes super fucking poorly for them. Like they blow up in the middle of the street. You kill a bunch of people. Everyone's dying. Like, people are just getting gunned down.
Yeah, they
all
have a
over.
lot of like innocent people strapped with like C4 and shit.
Yeah. And as you continue through that mission, at the very end of the mission, there's a guy who has C4 strapped to him, and you're like calling into base, trying to like, hey, we need to help with this guy. And then he like turns the phone over with the timer on it. It has like 5 seconds left. And Price just like grabs the dude and like fucking shoves him over the banister. So this guy just explodes. He's like, well, you got to save as many people as you can. So this guy's fucked, but we don't all have to die because of that. And that's when, right after that, your guy is, the guy you were playing as he's pretty pissed off at the whole situation because they knew about this for a while. And his main complaint is like he wants to be able to get in there and fight, right? And he thinks it's bullshit that they have all this ridiculous red tape that's stopping them from doing what they need to do to stop this kind of shit from happening. And now there's like hundreds of dead people, if not more, all over the place. And then Price basically makes a phone call, and now you're on his team. And that's when you guys get involved with this fighting like the Al Qaeda or Al Qatala or whatever the fuck.
It's Al Qatala.
Yeah, you fight. That's essentially what it is—a terrorist organization in the Middle East, and you are trying to capture their leader, which is Omar Suleiman. Also oddly similar, but I mean everyone's basically named Salami over there, right? No.
Well, he's nicknamed the Wolf, and that's what they call him the whole time.
They should have called him the Ritz Cracker, because his last name's Salami. It's good. But you never just cut up salami and put it on a Ritz Cracker with like a little cut of cheese? It's good.
I mean, yes,
had
but
that,
it's just another Schweiss comparison. He just
I'm just trying to be racist. That's all I'm doing.
There's a guy in the multiplayer that literally looks like young Putin in a tracksuit. You didn't like. There's no joke for that guy. This is a joke for a guy.
I mean, Putin on a Ritz.
There's a joke for that. It's also weird because there's a bunch of operatives that look like people at work that play the game. It's like really disturbing. And like there's one there's like 4 of them that look like people that I work with. And I'm like, it's like the fucking dream team from the post office. Like, I don't know about that, but yeah. Okay, you can make the. I hate the Putin guy too. He's annoying. He just pisses me off. I get scared every time I see him.
It's because every time you see him, like it's a dude playing with a shotgun. So
yeah, that's true. Every fucking time. So you basically find this guy and you kidnap him. And you find out that another guy named the Butcher, he launched an attack on the embassy, basically in retaliation to this capturing of the Wolf. Mm-hmm. And you basically have to hold a bunch of people off at the embassy, and it's a really bloody, really brutal mission. And you basically
run through the embassy. It's a lot of like the whole thing where the Call of Duty has always done this, where they will use gameplay as a way to tell parts of the story, and so there's just parts of it happening around you that you can witness, and then parts of it you do get to interact with. And so you run into the embassy. You need to get down to the safe room to help take possession of the Wolf. And then once you finally fight your way down there, like the embassy's totally being overrun, that's when you're like, okay, shit, how are we going to get out of here?
Yeah.
And then shit happens, like you gotta get a key card, and then the fucking person who has it,
The,
which is the ambassador, he
ambassador,
fucking
yeah.
dies. And so you have to like guide his
That was
his assistant through like the building, and
that was an interesting but annoying mission at the same time.
yeah,
It wasn't too hard at all.
it wasn't too bad, but there was a spot I always get caught at just because like I forgot that there was like another dude there.
Yeah. So you basically, and the whole point is like you've secured this man here, and you're trying to hold off these forces that are coming to take him back, right? Understandably enough, and everything goes haywire. Everybody, they get into the embassy, and then you finally hold him off, and then you go back into the safe room where you've got the guy, and they totally breach the wall. And
No,
fucking
so
took him.
that part is so you get out of the embassy
later.
and then you get to the ambassador's residence, which is also another kind of fortification setup. And there's a cell in his residence is where you put
that's
the
where
wolf.
it was. Okay.
And so there's in that whole part. So this is
So
something
you
that annoyed
spend
me during
a
the game.
lot of the time defending him, and then
And so you are now defending his residence from oncoming waves of people trying to break him out, right? That's when you get the laser, first time you get the laser for the Predator missile.
Yeah, pretty sweet.
So you're doing
cluster
that.
strikes.
You're sniping you're sending out cluster strikes and whatnot. And there was a pretty big bug for me during this part.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't have one.
So as you are defending the field and stuff, right? You're getting rid of waves and stuff like that. There was just a point where there was no more enemies, right? And you're like, use the missile. Get him.
Oh yeah, actually that did happen to me. But I found out it was because there was a guy who had broken through, and he was just like hiding in like some bullshit corner. But there's like no
so
more
for
enemies.
you maybe. So
But he
for
had,
you
he had,
maybe.
like, was
but
just
I
there.
sat there for like 45 minutes. Like I'm like, this is so fucking stupid. I'm just like I ran as far across the field as I could. Right, like I went all over the place. I got it to where I could kill myself with the missile. I found the perfect distance where it still let you call a missile into it. You could still run up to it and die. But dying didn't reset it. I thought it might. And then it's like, oh, can't send the missile there. You're too close to friendlies. And apparently only you are the friendly, because if you get out far enough, you can totally send missiles at your people.
Oh, wow.
And it doesn't kill them, but you can totally send missiles at them. And I was just sitting there like going all over the place. I'm like, what the fuck? Like I couldn't, like I've been all over that field. So I went online to see if there was a bug. And yeah, there's a fucking bug. And the way to get it, in the very far left corner, right next to a tree in the far left corner, if you send enough missiles over there, it'll finally let it go. I don't know if there's like a dude who spawned there, but like he's like through the ground or whatever, but you can
Slowly damage him.
and then you could finally kill him by doing that. And I'm like, to me, I'm like, dude, this game's been out since October last year, and this bug is still in the game.
See, I didn't have that because they weren't in the field anymore on Veteran. They were up my ass.
Oh, they always come up your ass.
Oh,
They always
okay.
push past the line, and you have to fight. Like it's every part of the game where you have like a hold them off situation. I feel like they spawn them behind you at a certain point too.
Yeah,
Well, and
that's
also-
totally what happened with my guy. That's why I didn't know he was there. He
Oh.
was just chilling. Like he didn't even come out. Like I just was like,
But that was the only major bug, and honestly, I hated it. I hated the whole 45 minutes trying to figure out what the fuck was happening. And I looked online, and yeah, it's a bug.
Yeah, that's annoying. I didn't have that. Yeah, that's
And then after you finally defend that field, you go in and they fucking bomb the cell from the outside. Number one, how do they know that was the room with the cell in it? Like,
don't
did they
know.
just have like a
Probably-
blueprint of the fucking building?
well, they attacked the embassy, so they probably like were scouting out both that and the ambassador's residence.
or there's an inside man.
But how
maybe.
would they? How would they know? Maybe inside man, or somehow
Yeah.
they knew the blueprint of the fucking thing, and the cells are here, and so they blew it from the outside. So yeah, you lost him.
Yeah, and then after that, everyone's like, "Fuck, we
Oh.
botched it."
I think there was the inside man, and if I'll just go spoil it, it was Hidir. I think.
Oh yeah,
that's what
it's
it
most
was.
likely Hadir at that point. Yeah.
Well, he's still enemies with them, though.
Yes and no, because they totally help him out later,
Well, no, hang on.
and it's
hang on.
not that much later.
Yeah, I mean, you'll find out later. He
So
is,
yeah. So once all this happens, you get the coolest mission I think in the game, the one I
It was
enjoyed
pretty
the most.
enjoyable.
It's called it's like the Highway or something like that, and Highway of Death, yeah. And the Wolfsmen are basically driving back up to their base or whatever, and you ambush the shit out of them. And it's a really cool sniper mission. I think it's actually really well done for Call of Duty, because you've got like bullet lag and like drift from the wind, and like you have to hold out markers.
Yeah,
and it's a pretty satisfying mission. Their heads explode when you. And this gun is like a fucking monstrous gun. Like,
yeah, I mean it is shooting.
It's like 7. It's not 7.62. It's bigger than that.
I know it's Lapua.
They're monstrous rounds though, and. You basically hold off all of those guys, and it's going well.
Yeah, it's a 338 Lapua Magnum rounds, which is a U.S. military sniping round.
Nice, there you go. So during this attack, Barkov's men, so one of the other forces, basically the terrorists, you know.
No, Barkov is the Russian guy.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's the Russian guy. So the Russians attack you while you're attacking the Middle Eastern guy.
Yeah, because some backstory. So the Russians are attacking these guys in the first place.
Actually, it's a British military issue.
Because one of these forces stole the gas.
Yeah,
a gas shipment from the Russians, and so they're trying to get it back.
Right, and they think they actually have the right idea of who did it, but we don't know that yet. We think it's all a big misunderstanding.
Well, he blames everyone.
Yeah.
But it was
So that's when we lose this attack, basically, and then the main girl whose country is being under attack, basically. Her brother, her name's Farr, her brother's name's Hadir. He unleashes the fucking gas on everybody, and it's revealed that he was the one that was stealing it in the beginning of the game.
Yeah.
He stole that gas.
Yeah.
And the Russians were trying to stop him from stealing that gas. So, like, it's this horrible conflict, and his whole idea, he just gasses everybody. And he's like, get to the bunker to stay alive, get the gas mask on, it'll be fine. And then you wake up, and then it's like, it's tough because, and this is where I think the story was really well done, and it plays with these themes, I think, really well. It's like, there's a Geneva Pact where you can't use gas because it's inhumane. It's terrible, right? It's a horrible way to do it, on one hand. And on the other hand, this guy's country is, being destroyed by these people that he just gassed and killed. So it's like, where do you draw
the gas from them?
Yeah,
gas they were using before
to fight back.
So it's almost like justice, right? It's like ironic.
Then Farah, she always said she would never stoop so low to do something like that because
it's what the enemy does.
It's what the enemy does. And they are not them.
And that's what this whole game is kind of about. Like Price's whole thing is like you draw the line where you need to get shit done, and that's kind of what Hadir does here. And Price knows that because he actually, defends the guy later on to some extent. He gives him over because he has to in the end, but he's like, no, we're not going to kill this guy. Like,
no, I mean, you were bringing him in. The whole point, I think you were going to bring him back to, I don't know if you're going to bring him back to Farah because she wanted to, kill him as well.
Yeah, it was hard because everyone you brought him back to wanted him dead, basically. And then you just give him over to the fucking Russians at the end.
Yeah.
But whatever, that was a political move.
But you learned through later that he had been working for Al-Qatal, and because he stole the chemical weapons, the U.S. military designated them as a terrorist group as well, as far as whole people. Your Tom Selleck or Alex was like, no, that's fucking stupid. I'm going to fucking stay with these guys and help them. And basically, like, going against the command. So that part's like he basically just became a terrorist in the eyes of the U.S. military.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
which was kind of badass that he did that.
It was, yeah.
He finally found a cause that he believed in. He was no longer just a tool.
Yeah. It was pretty sweet. And they kind of let you go because it's...
Yeah, this game, it's always just like, oh, you can't do that, but they do it anyway. And then like, we're going to support you.
Yeah, exactly. It's so dumb because they tell him they're not going to do it. He tells them they're going to do it, and then they let him go. It's like, no, I think you'd be arrested for that in real life. It's like, no, I really don't think we're going to let you go help this terrorist organization. I really don't think we're going to let that happen. And then your guy's like, well, I think it's going to happen. And then you'd get arrested. That's what would happen right there for treason, essentially. But in this game, they let you go because nobody cares. If it was the black lady commander, she would have shut your ass down. But it was the old white lady, and she let you go.
Well, he's CIA, and she's CIA, right?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Yeah,
and
that's
so
probably
they can operate outside of that's what they do.
I think he also said something about taking vacation or something. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah. So then we get some really cool backstory of why Hadir and his sister Hadir and Farah hate.
Just their past and why they hate them.
And basically in 99, they were basically orphaned during Barkov's invasion. So, you've got... This is where the game gets brutal, because you play as the girl. You play as Farah as a girl, and people are just getting gunned down, and like the invasion is happening, gas is coming out, you're running through the streets like hiding and like stealthily moving along, and you and your dad and your brother, you get to this little house, you get back to your house, and it seems like you're going to be okay, and then this dude comes in and just guns your dad down, and you and your brother are basically left to hide and run away from this guy. And it's a pretty fucking cool mission where you have to like use a screwdriver and like a
kitchen knife
and like all these random scissors. I had the scissors.
I just kept going back for the kitchen knife because he just kept dropping.
I used the screwdriver the whole time.
Oh, nice. I used the screwdriver and the scissors. I didn't see the kitchen knife. That actually sounds way easier.
I didn't see the kitchen knife or the scissors.
But I never hid. I just Dead by Daylighted it, where I'd see him go into one room and move around, because I'm like, if I hide, I can't see where he's at, and he's going to check under stuff to find me, right?
Yeah.
And so
I
would walk around the
loosely.
kitchen. I'd grab the kitchen knife, and then I'd wait for him to turn the other way. I'd run up and stab him. He'd smack me, but I'd scurry off another direction and then wait for him to drop the knife and scurry back in, pick up the knife and stab again. It was so simple, so easy.
I did that on the last one. I like juked him to go get my fucking screwdriver back, and then I juked him again to like get behind him, and then I was like,
nice.
It was so easy, so simple.
Yeah, it was harder on veteran, obviously, but
I never got shot once during the whole thing.
Oh, then you would have been fine.
Yeah,
I was just impatient. But it's cool because you just slowly stab this guy, and then like you get him, and he starts choking the fucking life out of you because there's this little shit girl, right? And then your brother comes up, and like you guys are just fucking stabbing this poor bastard.
Yeah,
that totally deserves it, obviously. And then you take his AK from him, and somehow you're able to shoot just him.
Yeah,
because it's this little kid, and this is a big gun. Like they have fucking massive rounds. Like AK-47's no joke, man. And she just fucking plugs this guy like point blank.
I mean, she kind of gets it like Adam pulls the trigger, and of course the recoil just sends it flying.
Yeah.
So
it peppers him and he dies, right? And then you guys basically have to leave town, and like you're crawling through, and there's like dead kids.
Crawling
and shit.
through the poppy fields, by the way. Which
is
a nice touch.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got gas masks on because it's fucking clouded out there.
Yeah, they got that gas warfare going on. That's why she's so against that, because she saw, I mean, everyone's against it.
It kills everything. It killed people, children, dogs, chickens, and everything.
They even knew some of the kids that were dead. Like, like along the path, which was like fucked up.
And then you become to like another one of my favorite parts of the game. When you're like, oh, okay, if we just run away, we're gonna die, So you and your brother decided to steal a truck. Like,
it's a crazy plan.
Yeah, I haven't been a kid for a long time, so like, would I have thought of that as a kid in that situation, like to go steal a truck and to drive away somewhere? And I don't know. But anyways, you and your brother.
I don't know how old they're supposed to be. I know Hadir is supposed to be a little older, like 13 or something. But.
And so your dad had given you both a couple cell phones, so Hadir couldn't take out the guards because his coughing would have given away because he had inhaled some of the gas. So he goes up to play bait, where he'll move to a spot, and then you can call his phone, and then the two guards will look in his direction. So you run up, grab a revolver that's laying out, and then go hide back the poppy fields, and then you wait for them to be distracted, and you slowly steady your gun and pop one of the guards and then pop the other one.
Yeah, there's a trophy for killing both of them at the same time. So what I did is, I
didn't know.
I would just run up to the fucking table, and I climbed up on the table, and I crouched down a little, and then I had to pull the gun up. It's really hard to aim it, actually.
Yeah.
And then I'd wait for the one guy to move his head to where the other guy's shoulder was, and I just blasted him. It took me 4 tries though, because I kept fucking up. I missed a few times.
Yeah,
it's
really
hard
to
tough.
aim it.
Yeah.
And then it's funny they make it this is probably the first time she's held a gun. Well, second time, but the first time was the AK.
Yeah.
And then she's sitting there, she pulls the hammer back, and then she shoots and stuff like that. And then if you ever go through the reloading animation, I did that just for fun. It's just how do you? It's you fumble a little bit at the release for the cylinder. She pops it open, but then it's just it's all slow, but it's the ejector. You get all the rounds out, and then she pulls out the fucking round.
She knows exactly what she's doing.
It in, closes. I'm just like, okay, it's
Yeah, like-
slower.
Yeah, but you know what you're doing. Like, it's like someone with Parkinson's is doing it that's been a shooter for their whole life. Like, they got to take their time or they're going to drop it, but they know exactly what's happening.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little funny, that animation. I mean, like, what are you going to do with that animation, right?
Yeah.
They probably didn't intend for you to reload at that point. But.
No, I don't. Well, on Veteran, if you don't kill both of them, you basically die. Because
Yeah.
the other guy's going to kill you before you can do it. So, like, I had to do that.
Right.
But yeah, you kill him, and then you're like, all right, sweet. Everyone hops in the truck, and then you get captured.
Yep.
And so, like, the whole idea, you're like, this is never going to work. And then you're like, man, it's working. And then it just doesn't work. And you're like, fuck, I knew it. I knew it was a stupid plan, but...
And then you spend the next 10 years in prison.
Yeah.
Labor
yeah.
camp. Labor camp. That's what it was.
It says prison on
Well, it is a
Wikipedia.
prison, but but
definitely,
you are imprisoned. But as you break out, it's a labor camp. There's
Yeah, I mean,
fucking
it's both.
It's a place where they have the women making clothes and
Well,
stuff like that.
all labor camps are prisons, but not all prisons are labor camps, Greg. It's important.
Yeah, but you spend the next 10 years, there. But we'll get to that other half in another flashback.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a cool part. I liked playing as the little kids. I thought that was really cool. So once she was captive, she became kind of the commander of the rebel forces, and she did a big breakout from the camp with the help of Price, actually, when he was younger.
Yeah, you fight through that whole sequence. You finally
But you
manage
get
to
more face to face with that Russian general dude, Barakov.
Yeah, kind of
Yeah.
like
He's like you have the whole interrogation scene.
yeah, he's basically a Nutter Butters.
Yeah.
You go through a torture scene with being waterboarded. You're holding back information from him. He executes one of your friends / resistance fighters. But then eventually you're able to... He has to go... I think he was going to come kill you. He was choking you out in your prison cell. And then something happens. I guess the base got attacked.
Yeah.
In the nick of time, which was probably Captain Price.
It was, yeah.
And so you use that moment to break out. You finally break out, sneak out of the prison. You lead your people out of jail, and you advance your way out to go save Hadir and the men who are working with the gas, like developing the gas.
Yeah. And then it kind of cuts back to present day after you get their backstory, which I thought was a cool little section, just seeing like what happened to them. I enjoyed that. And then this is where you find the wolf's hidden base, and you don't take him this time. You kill his ass. And but you are still looking for Hadir. So the bad guy has kind of changed around a little bit. Now Hadir is committed
Now
these...
Hadir is your bad guy. Well, just because he betrayed everyone, he's the one who stole the gas. So in
he
everyone's
caused
eyes,
this,
he
honestly,
is the
yeah.
one to go grab Nap now.
For whatever reason, for whatever good reason you might have for using it, which is, it's a really gray thing. He's the guy who caused all of this.
It's just
basically.
like that's where the majority of the world draws the line. Like
Yeah.
chemical attacks is not worth the.
There's a lot of people that signed the Geneva Convention, and that's one of the big things in it. Is
Yeah.
You can't do that shit. This is where the U.S. government basically says that Farah's army is a foreign terrorist threat, like right to her face, basically.
Yep.
And your guys are like, no, I'm going to help. So Tom Selleck, stays and helps her out in Urzikstan. So after that, Price and you kind of head back to St. Petersburg, and you find Nikolai, who I forgot about for a while, but he's actually really cool in the other games. He's like a bitchin' support guy. I think he dies eventually, which sucks in like 3 or something. But you meet up with him, and you guys manage to capture the Butcher. So the guy who planned the thing at the very beginning, the Piccadilly attack and all of that, super bad dude. He's the new bad guy, basically, because now the wolf's dead.
Yep, and then that's when you use his wife and son to like fucking get the information from him because he won't talk on his own.
Yeah. That's where the line is. You draw the line where you have to, because there's a lot of gray area and war and combat and stuff like that.
And that's when they find out that Hadir is going to attack Barakov's house and kill his family and everything. So that's where you head next.
Yeah.
Is the Barakov estates.
Yeah, and then you find out that, all these people are, dead, and like Barakov's estate is actually under attack as well. And his family is being interrogated to find to find
like you go
information.
it's like a stealth mission, and you go in there, and some of the dudes that you talk to, you find out are like actually Barkov's like cousins and shit. Like it's their family, their whole family lives on this like huge place. And then you're like, oh shit, like he's attacking like the Russians now. Yeah.
And so like it's this huge fight, and this is a cool mission too. That's the one I can't get the fucking trophy for, though. It's a pain in the ass. And you basically find out the location of the gas factory, and then this is kind of the last section of the game, the last 2 missions, and you storm the factory, killing a bunch of dudes, getting your way up there as Alex, and then you get into the factory and you set C4 because you're going to blow this thing up. You're going to stop it from producing gas, obviously. And then you find out the C4 doesn't have like the detonators are fucked up.
No, it's the Juggernaut boss that you fight in there, the fucking bullshit one that takes forever to die.
Yeah,
he like before he dies, he like steps on the detonator and it fucks up, so it won't trigger.
Oh, okay.
So somebody has to like shoot it basically to like make it go off.
Yeah, so this is Tom Selleck's sacrifice story.
Yeah, so he basically stays behind to like make sure that the gas gets fucking destroyed.
And so that whole scene where he wants Farah Karim to command him to go do it.
Yeah, because he's basically lived his whole life as a soldier. He doesn't have any ties to this.
Right, and so now he finally has something he believes in. So at that moment in his head, he was no longer CIA. He was a freedom fighter for this resistance.
Yeah.
And he saw Farah as his commander, basically.
Yeah, and
he's like, you need to go on. You need to keep leading. You are, the resistance.
You're the leader. I'm just a soldier.
So tell me to go do it. So he's begging her, hey, tell me to go do this. I know it's going to kill me, but this is something I need to do. This is something I believe in.
Yeah, and she has to go kill Barkov, so she agrees.
Yep.
And he stays behind and blows himself to pieces, and the chemical plant's blown up. And then we get a pretty sweet, I don't really understand how it happened, but sweet little scene where Barkov's above and he's like pissed off and like,
well, there's like a couple other parts of that where like you're with Gaz, you start playing as Gaz right after the part with Alex.
Yeah,
you get to Barkov and then he gets in the plane just as Farah arrives, and she jumps onto it like while everybody's fighting.
Yeah, and then like you get the final scene where she just rolls out of the fucking
and of course she has to use a knife. It has to be that much more personal.
Yeah, and that's like the Modern Warfare trope, man. It's like the Modern Warfare 2 thing where you pull the knife out of your chest and you
that's when you insert
it.
the Joker from Dark Knight Rises. Why use a knife? Type of thing. And it's a much more personal thing to go stab someone.
That's right.
Much more like emotional, like to have.
You get to watch him die from up close.
Yeah, so you sneak up on him and you just knife the shit out of him and roll
have
his
a moment
body
of
off.
dialogue with him, but then you kick his head off.
There's some good dialogue, and then the game's pretty much over.
But the one thing I thought was super funny was that this was Barkov's helicopter, but for some reason Nikolai was the one piloting it. It's like, how did Nikolai run up there to the helicopter pad and kill the pilot?
That's what he did. Because he drops you off, and then he's like,
and it just felt like very A-Team at that point.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous.
It was like at every point Nikolai or Barkov was fucked because his soldiers. He was all alone. He didn't have any of his soldiers with him.
He expected Price to put a cigar in his mouth and say, "I love it when a plan comes together."
Yeah. He might as well. That's actually true. Yeah. What the fuck was that? Yeah. There's no way he gets out of that. No way.
He's gone. He's done for.
He just jumped on
literally just to give Farah that personal moment to kill him. It was totally safe for her at that point.
Yeah, that's true. That's so dumb. Yeah. It's kind of funny though because he just jumped on the helicopter assuming it was his.
Yeah, exactly.
He probably didn't even look at the guy piloting it.
Right. No.
And then he's like, "Oh, really?"
Yeah,
fuck.
But it was fucking Nikolai piloting it.
Yeah. Yeah,
I thought that maybe Farah was going to go in there and then finish off the pilot and land it. That's what I thought, but no, it's fucking Nikolai.
Yeah, at first I was like, how the fuck did she get on the plane or the helicopter? And then I was like, oh yeah, she did kind of go over there. And I was like, what is this? And then Price should have just walked up somehow he's on it too. And then he says I love it when a plan comes together with a big cigar.
He was hiding underneath the other bench.
Yeah, he rolls out after it's all done, said and done.
He's in the co-pilot seat.
Yeah. And then your guy, the guy that sacrificed himself, is there too. Everyone is just fucking, it's stupid. They're all alive, even though he just blew up insanely.
It like Ocean's 11s, and then it's like the Alex guy actually had a body double who was a Russian, and it's
yeah.
That super emotional moment we saved, right?
Yeah, it's ruined. So after that, Barkov's dead and disowned by Russia. Russia basically has nothing to do with him. So like we were saying earlier, they're operating outside of the government's thing.
Yeah, that's. I guess it is. Russia knew about it and wanted to do it, but they had enough, disconnect that if it could be blamed on Barkov entirely, and none of it would spill over to the Russians.
Yeah, I feel like they probably do that in real life too.
Well, yeah,
I
of
could
course.
see that.
Of course. That's how any type of black operation's done. It's plausible not deniability. And so there are parts of the game where they send your team out and they're like, only use guns sourced from the country when they went to Russia and stuff like that. So if they were caught, it wasn't American operatives working in Russia. It was like these these guys.
Exactly. That's the same reason why the Russians in the beginning were like
100% what happens in the world today.
The Russians in the beginning, that's why they were shitting their pants. They're like, oh, these are Americans. Like, oh shit, we didn't know that. This is going to be a problem. So it all kind of comes back to that. So Price meets up with the your main girl, the Laswell is her name, the commander.
Yeah.
Basically, I don't know what she's that fucking some sort of head, CIA probably.
Yeah, she's like their
handler.
handler.
I think she is. Yeah, and they discuss the creation of Task Force.
This little scene though is after the credits.
Oh yeah, and before that they give Hadir over to the Russians.
Yeah, so they give Hadir over. Yes, they probably wouldn't kill him. They'd just keep him in prison the rest of his life.
Yeah.
And torture him.
Yeah.
But super sad, but anyways, then you have all the credits roll and stuff like that.
Hadir over after the Russian estate thing.
Yeah. So that was before all that. But then credits roll, and then they have the little after credits scene.
Where he's like having tea with old Laswell.
Yeah, he looks too skinny too. He needs to put on some.
And then she's like,
meat.
He's like, I want to make a team.
Spec Ops people or people like that who go through Ranger School and do all sorts of stuff. They're generally not super strong built up people, just because strength is good in fighting, but being able to run long distances for a long time and be lighter is more important for that type of thing.
Yeah, that's why he's a skin and bones kind of guy. That's fair.
It's being lighter.
That's why you got to have the chops to put on the illusion of power.
Being lighter and fast is much more appreciative to that type of thing.
And this is the only time. This is so cool. The very end of the game, he says, "Oh, they got a new task for you," and he's like, "Oh, I want to put together a team, right?" And that's when he gets the cigar.
This is like
and he has a fucking cigar too.
No, dude.
This is the fucking Avengers Initiative.
Dude, that's what I thought too.
Exactly what it is.
I was like, "Oh my god, he's talking about the Avengers."
He's Nick Fury with his fucking folder of heroes he's putting together.
Yeah.
To create the Avengers. No, this is fucking no, dude. It's like almost scene like the scene per scene. It's just like this is fucking Captain Price putting together his 141.
He's like, yep, I want Gaz, I want John Soap McTavish, and then fucking Ghost.
Yeah, and I was like, that was so cool, dude. I was like,
I enjoyed it. I mean, it's like 100% the Avengers Initiative, like they're making fun of, but I don't know, it worked for me. Like it's just they're playing on the nostalgia.
Well, see, the whole time we think it's a remake, right? I thought it was a remake, and then that happens, and I was like, oh fuck, it's a prequel reboot.
No, I still think it's not just a prequel. I still think they're going to remake everything else because they set it up for the next game.
It's a prequel reboot.
What's that? What was that dude called? The dude who rolls in and takes over, basically.
The Russian guy?
No, the dude in the other Modern Warfare games, Red Beret. He was the dude who assassinated the one leader of the country on TV, where you're taken in a car to be assassinated, and it's what's his name?
I know what you're talking about. It's the guy that Makarov, or you kill in the first one, and then Makarov takes over.
Yeah,
I can't remember his name. I didn't play that game, that's why I don't remember his name.
But they set that up. Basically, it was a setup for that.
That's the guy who you're going after, and it's really cool. I was like, oh man, that's such a bitchin' way to do this game, and then it just ends, and now we're waiting. It's like nice.
When did the first Modern Warfare when was that supposed to take place? Because I know the third one is like, it's the year for that one is like 2024 or some shit for Modern Warfare 3.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's setting it up almost perfectly with the timing then.
If the timing of the next one is like 2020 and then it just keeps going, then yeah, it would just be a prequel.
Maybe they did that all on purpose. That's pretty cool. Pretty cool thing.
So the dude Yasir Al-Fulani is the dude who got executed, but Ermin Zakhev, the leader of the Russian ultra-nationalist party. Then Khaled al-Assad, the commander of the revolutionary forces. So so that was Khaled al-Assad that you see an introduction for at the end of the game.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right.
And then the reference back to that All Gillied Up mission that took place in Chernobyl, Pripyat. He made a reference back to that. Because in the first Modern Warfare game, that level All Gillied Up is like a flashback to when you had that sniper mission where you're supposed to snipe the one dude, transferring the nuclear stuff.
Yeah.
And then you try to get that shot, but you ended up just blowing off his arm or something like that instead of actually killing him, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, and that's the guy, yeah.
And so he just makes a reference back to that mission as well that happens in the first Modern Warfare game back in 2007. But he talks about, being there in Pripyat.
Yeah.
Cool flashbacks. And I feel like they're going to redo that part of the story too. Hopefully they do.
Yeah, it's pretty... I liked it.
Putting the team together. Putting together the Avengers.
That's right. All right, so what do you guys give the story then? So we went over it pretty well. And I want to know what you guys think. Craig.
For the story, I really liked it. Fucking quit stepping on my cord. The story was pretty cool. I did enjoy the backstory that they gave for both Farah and Hadir. To see kind of like where they kind of diverged, because he was already a little different in the opinion, like when he was a kid, about like how they would do it. I really liked how it's set up. Captain Price is fucking cool. Everybody else is fucking cool, but not as cool as Captain Price.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really liked it. I give it like a 9.
All right. 9.
I feel like the story was good. It's definitely something that pulled you in. There was some parts that I don't know if I was not paying close enough attention, but some of the stuff seemed kind of muddled. Again, I'm going to bring up the part where it's like, oh, you can't do that. Well, we'll do it anyway. Well, fuck it. Here's some support.
Yeah.
Wait, for which part?
Several parts, actually.
They don't give them support. That's like the fucking point.
We talk about they don't give them support. There's that whole mission where this is after they've all been.
Well, after Alex leaves, she's like, "Yeah, we can't support you in anything you're gonna do," and he's like, "I don't fucking need you to." And then Price leaves, gets Nikolai, and fucking takes gas, and they.
But then
go
at the
do
end,
shit.
when
they don't get
right,
any help.
that part's I understand, but the part I'm laughing at is that Alex has been part of. He's now basically a terrorist, but they all go assault the actual new gas production facility, and they have fucking a Bradley there. They have fucking Predator drones and stuff. You're still doing the whole thing.
Yeah,
that one was supported.
Oh yes, obviously it was.
Yeah,
but
you were playing as Alex too.
Yeah, and then Alcatel was there. Farah was there. And then that's a terrorist. They said you weren't going to support him, but they support him anyway.
And you defected basically, and you're calling in Predator strikes in the fucking air, like. It's a little weird, It's a little strange.
Maybe I missed some stuff. I had some parts of the story like that.
They had some weapons of their own, because there's another part where he plays Alex and he like uses drones and shit too.
That part actually was one of my favorite missions. Like the fucking propane tank mortars.
Yeah,
awesome. Fucking loved it.
The little
RC planes.
Yeah, that was fucking sweet. The RC plane. They couldn't stop them. They're powerless. Try to shoot it down. It's like, doesn't matter. I'm coming.
Yeah,
fucking blow up a whole
I love
second.
that. The fucking RC plane armada as they're coming in.
Yeah.
It's like, we brought an Air Force of our own. I love that mission.
That's pretty sweet.
The story, it's very relevant to our time. Bombings and then shootings that happened, and
it was weirdly more emotional than any fucking COD has been.
Yeah,
especially that last part with Alex.
Yeah. I mean, it's just better story writing is what it is. They're trying to bring back engaging single player stories for these games. I'm going to give it an 8. for story.
I agree with Cameron. I'm going to give it an 8 too. It's not a perfect story, but it did have some cool stuff. I really liked the gray areas that the story dealt with.
I mean, that's the whole point. That's where the meat is. It's the gray areas.
Yeah.
Where do you draw your line?
Exactly. And I think this game is really it's not only pertinent to our current political climate, it's also brings to light our current, like, just the way our culture looks at these kind of situations. We tend to look at things black and white, and this game looks at it in a very gray way, and I think it's really refreshing for it. And I think I've always been impressed with the Modern Warfare stories, especially. And, of course, Black Ops was great, but Black Ops 2 and, like, beyond, it kind of got a little stupid, in my opinion. But the Modern Warfares, they've all been very solid, and this one is no change to that. Infinity Ward does a great job of doing great characters. The characters are pretty good. I didn't have as much of an emotional connection with Alex, but I think Captain Price's character was excellent in this game.
With Alex, it was like he had a lot of connection with Farah, and I think that's why that last part was more an emotional part.
Yeah, and the whole game, he basically talks about how he doesn't have a purpose in life. Like, he's just a soldier, basically.
The entire time he gets to know Farah, because, like, that's basically, like, all of his missions have to deal with, like, him and her doing stuff.
It's him finally doing something that he feels is right, and he becomes a freedom fighter in that moment.
Yeah, and then he dies for it.
I mean, that's what freedom fighters do.
That's right. It was pretty cool. I liked it, though. I liked the new changes that they did. Like, the Price guy, I thought he did a really good job, the voice actor.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's a pretty damn good story. It's really short, but it's really quite good, I would say. It's pretty impressive for a shooter. Most shooters, they don't really have much in the way of story. Call of Duty's always been kind of one of those outliers that actually kind of does. And Halo, of course.
I mean, so we see a couple eras of Call of Duty that, you know, like the early Call of Duty, they had decent amount of story.
Yeah,
but it wasn't until like World at War
II
that you're starting to get like an intriguing kind of like
it doesn't just
story.
deal with like the fact
World at
that
War.
this fight happened. It's like people are getting like fucked up mentally because of this.
And then when Modern Warfare came out, and then Modern Warfare 2, like the story was great, but then by the time Black Ops 3 came out, Modern Warfare 3 struggled just a little bit, and then we start getting to like this, now we have Kevin Spacey in our game, and then we have
Kit Harington
in our game, and it's just like really started losing the meat of the story, the stuff that really made it like super engaging.
Yeah, and admittedly, you're mostly there for the multiplayer, but the stories have always been good.
Yeah, and so now we're having this reboot where it's just the right amount of controversial to make people happy and mad at the same time.
Yeah.
And then just a more engaging story. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. Pretty well
so
done.
part of it, I feel like when you're trying to make an engaging story, again, trying to make it more relatable to our time. Those stories, too much future stuff going on.
Yeah,
it's not as engaging.
It's disconnecting, right?
Yeah.
You're not connected to it on a personal level like you are in this. That's why they made so many World War II ones and so many modern day ones with the Modern Warfare, is because that actually works, and they kind of drifted from that.
Impossible to make an engaging story.
With a futuristic plot,
or just like fanciful stuff too.
Yeah,
like it doesn't have to always be 100% relevant, but that's what these games have always been good at, is making a relevant statement to what's going on.
Yeah, I agree. So the most important part of any shooter. Well, other than graphics, honestly, because like the graphics are what age shooters, and that's why shooters' replayability is usually lower over the years.
And no.
But yes and no is for sure.
Because people have been playing fucking
Counter-Strike
for forever.
Yeah, it's just really fun. And speaking of fun, gameplay. What do you guys think of the game's gameplay? We've all played a decent amount online, so we have a pretty well-rounded feel.
And Caleb and I, so at the end of the story, it tells you the story continues in the Spec Ops missions.
Cocksuckers. Did you play those?
We did,
Fuck you guys.
I played a couple of them.
Oh, just okay.
Yeah.
How many people can you have?
4.
Oh, shit. We could play together?
Yes, we can.
Man.
They're fucking hard.
Yeah. They're not as easy. But the second level, like the first time we played it, man, it got so fucking hard and pointless.
Oh yeah, dude. It got to the point where we fucking like couldn't get XP anymore.
And so the third time we played it, we were there for so long, there's no XP. And then when we finally started getting things moving or about done, it fucking kicked us out. I think we were on that game for so long, the server timed out. basically.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
It kicked us all out. We spent so long on there, but then by that time we knew exactly what to do, at least Craig and I, and we fucking just went through
We
it
finished
so
that mission
fast.
in like, what, 4 minutes?
And we got through it so fast the third time we did it.
See, that reminds me of Modern Warfare 2's Platinum. You had to get, like, it was actually, you had the intel, and I'm glad they didn't do intel or anything like that in this game. I'm kind of tired of collectibles, It's
Yeah.
like, it's just kind of annoying. Because then you almost have to look up a guide for that. And it's like, I'd rather not. I'd rather just experience the game. Modern Warfare 2 had those extra missions that were bastardly hard. You had to get like 3 stars on all of them. And that's part of the Platinum. And these Spec Op missions, like, I haven't played them yet, but like I saw them and I was like, oh man, that brought me back in the day of like the great times of doing that.
They are different. It's like
I
a mix
imagine
between
They have
that and
classic
story.
Spec Ops missions, but the storied ones that me and Cam played, they're like way different.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm excited to get into those.
We turned
There's kinda like
we turned one of
phases.
those missions into like basically the fucking horde mode from Gears.
There
It's
is a
ridiculous.
survival mode, and like that's essentially what we were playing because of our stupidity.
Yeah,
Nice.
we didn't know exactly what to do, and the other people weren't helping. But then it got to a point where they're sending so many enemies at us that there was no time to go do anything
Yeah.
else. The game was like, "Fuck you guys for being here too long. I'm going to try to kill you," but fuck it. But third time's the charm, right?
Yeah. So the gameplay, single player, it's pretty good. You get to play around with a bunch of different weapons, which honestly, single player campaigns and shooters
That's
mostly.
what they do. Yeah,
they
show you a bunch of different weapons. They show you like a bunch of different kill streak stuff.
yeah. They
There was
get
no
you intrigued.
Juggernaut moment other than the one you fight.
Yeah.
There is that moment when you get to go when you're at the end, near the end at the gas facility, when you switch over back to Gaz. I can't remember his actual name. Where you could pick up a minigun at that point, and you're not a Juggernaut, but dude, that minigun, just a little tap is all you need.
Yeah,
and then they're dead. Loved it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
It basically just showcases the multiplayer aspects of the game. That's kind of the whole point of the single player campaigns. But when they do it with a good story, it stands out, and that's why these games are better than a lot of the others.
I mean, there's weapons that I'll use in the story mode that I'll never use in multiplayer.
Yeah, that's true, because it's just not feasible.
There's a different calling for them, basically.
Yeah, well,
like
you don't have people
for the
sprinting
Spec
at
Ops.
you
Well,
the
the
same
Spec
way.
Ops missions that Cam and I did, we pulled out the fucking light machine
Dude,
guns.
fucking Spec Ops, like I never really ever use light machine guns in multiplayer. I'm trying to use one of them because you can build it in a certain way that's really cool. But dude, you fucking need them in the Spec Op
you
missions.
need the pure
just
ammo.
the amount of ammo you can bring.
Just throwing rounds down.
Especially when they start throwing
Yeah.
helicopters at you, because you could spam fire helicopters and take them down pretty quick with the LMGs. And just like, dude,
in the one mission where it took us forever, we had like 5 Juggernauts and like 2 or 3 helicopters, and they were like near each other.
it takes more ammunition to kill a Juggernaut than it does a helicopter.
Yeah, like twice as much, and it's disgusting.
Jesus.
And they can kill you just as fast.
And then the one cool thing about Spec Ops, it levels up your weapons just like it would for multiplayer.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
And so
that's
you,
cool.
so,
It also levels you up a lot.
And so if
I
you
leveled up twice in one.
well, we were
game.
also doing double XP, but yeah,
Is it
levels
combines
you up
your
tons.
it's your online level?
Yep.
Oh.
And so if you ever have a weapon you want to level up to get to a certain area, but you don't want your actual stats for online to be
drop.
affected,
Shit.
go
That's
do
what you do.
some
Go-
fucking Spec Ops.
or Survivor or the classic Spec
Like
Ops.
every time we did it, even if we lost, we leveled up at least 2 times.
Yeah.
Nice. That's really cool. I didn't
Yeah.
know they did that. That's a
Yeah,
that's a really cool
I didn't either
way to-
until I was like, "Hey,
Every-
Craig,
every
since we're
kill
reviewing this
gives
game
you, like-
tomorrow, let's go play some Spec Ops so we actually know that part of the game."
Yeah, every kill gives you like 20 XP, and then depending on what it is, it gives you more. Like if it's a Juggernaut, you get like 100, and then same with like a helicopter.
Nice, yeah. So I mean, it's classic COD in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Other than those changes, you have your levels and you
Gameplay,
unlock.
oh man, talk about going back in the right direction.
Yeah, it's a little bit. It's a teeny bit slowed down, but I don't think that's really the case anymore. I think it's actually pretty fast.
Yeah, time to kill wise, super fast.
Yeah.
But all the fanciful, like, they're trying to be Titanfall stuff that happened, after the Modern
there's
Warfare
no
series.
double jumping while running or anything like that anymore.
It's definitely a callback to some of the earlier mechanics, with some differences to it. But I feel like the gameplay really works for me.
Yeah. I like the implementation of weapon levels. One thing Modern Warfare 2 did is you had to do kills with certain things to unlock other things.
Yes,
like you'd have to do
that's all
hip
right.
fire. You'd have to do like aim down sight. You'd have to do headshots to unlock certain attachments.
They still have that.
But
all
it's for skins. Yeah.
Yeah, noob tubes you had to do because you had to do the noob tube
And
in Modern Warfare 2.
For me, I unlocked the gold skin for the MP5, and that was like my main thing I was going for. But once I did that, I realized now after you unlock the gold skin, there is the fucking
diamond skin or whatever.
There's 2 skin levels above gold, and it's like to get the next level, you have to unlock the gold skin for every weapon in that category, and then the next level after that is like you have to unlock the previous skin for every weapon in every category or something like that.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, fuck this. I got the gold, and that's where I'm going to stop.
What about the foreskin? Like, what if you had a skin on your gun that, like, when you weren't shooting it, it covered the gun, and then when you started shooting it, pulled it back.
The foreskin, you can't get it back.
Oh shit!
You cannot. So if you have to keep that foreskin, or else you'll never have that skin again.
What if you have?
You could consider that oil can suppressor that.
Yeah.
It's like going over your gun.
What if you had foreskin on the gun? So like it had
Jesus.
like a sheath. And then you only kept it if you never died while holding that gun.
Well, technically, the gun does have a sheath, as there's a holster.
Yeah. But it's like on the gun. You have to carry the holster around like retardedly. And if you don't die ever, you get to keep it. That's the ultimate skin. The I never die holding this gun skin. You got to switch to your secondary before you die. Keep the foreskin. I never got the gold skin. I've got a lot of them for the P90. That's my gun on multiplayer. I love it.
A lot for
MP5 is mine, dude. It's so good.
I've heard that one's really good.
I love it. I can't. It's like I do so well with that. When I try to play another weapon and get used to it, it makes my score fall a little bit just because I have it down to the amount of bullets, how long I need to hold the trigger for to know I'm going to kill someone.
Nice.
It's just so ingrained now.
And the way the kill streaks are now, you don't take more damage like you used to. I mean, you can if you heal up, which you can do, but you usually have to take
when
cover.
you play realism mode, which is my favorite mode, by the way, you just like with one mag, you just pick up so many kills.
Yeah. So I like the weapon level system. I think it's cool. The skins are cool. They're just optional stuff.
My favorite weapon system was actually in the Black Ops 2.
Oh, yeah.
Where there was an in-game currency, and you could use the in-game currency to purchase the weapon parts.
I fucking love
that.
Black Ops.
In my opinion, by far is the best way to do it.
And that's the best way to do optional missions for a multiplayer game as well. That is the best, because you would take contracts for kills with certain things. I had
that.
By the way, gun game
I know. Gun game got added to
I had
Modern Warfare.
Millions of XP from that. Like, I did that every single time, and I was so good at Black Ops that I could just pull any weapon out and get the challenges done. And it was so fucking perfect.
Maybe keep the... Yeah, and so maybe make it a way to still make it to where earning the money's challenging. But
and maybe certain currency for
being
certain
able
guns
to
fucking I don't know about that.
Buy the parts that you want to use.
Yeah.
And I mean, in this game, if you don't like a certain gun, then you don't use it. But in this game, you use a gun, you slowly level it up, unlock parts for it, which is fine in my opinion. But being able to purchase the parts that you want for a gun. Perfect.
That was Black Ops is the best Call of Duty for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's because of almost everything in it, actually.
Yeah.
Because of everything in it.
Yeah. This one's not nearly as pristine as that.
Yeah,
but it's
bringing
pretty
back more options for as far as party game goes, instead of just limiting you to 2 different types that rotate every so often.
Yeah.
But being able to have a whole different party game section, and then being able to have the experience from that might not count overall, but being able to make an in-game currency that could then affect the rest of your game from it.
That's the way to go. And,
Beautiful.
And see, Black Ops had the best game modes too. The only one that I don't think is a classic is Sticks and Stones.
I still enjoyed that though.
Yeah, it's still fun, but one in the chamber, so intense, so crazy, so much fun.
Need one in the chamber back. Gun game is
Gun
great.
game was the greatest thing
The one
ever.
in the chamber's still my favorite.
I think you'll like Gun Game again.
Yeah, gun game I fucking love. Just there's something about like killing somebody and then pulling that second gun out and then killing the next guy that you see and then pulling that third gun. It's just so fucking cool.
Yeah.
And the timing sometimes can be so
you
perfect.
do get weapon XP for that too.
I know, you get weapon XP for everything in this
Yeah.
game. No matter what game mode it is, if you pick up someone else's gun,
Even if you
XP.
don't have that gun unlocked yet, you still
Yeah.
get XP for it.
That's
which is
super-
great.
which is great, yeah. That's a
it's
cool
a great way
deal with
to
it.
get a taste of what a different gun is like.
Yeah, yeah.
But for me, I'd give gameplay. I don't know. I'd give gameplay a solid 8.
Yeah. I'm going to echo the 8 because the single player, your teammates are still COD tards.
For me, yeah, single player, yeah,
They're fucking idiots. They let people
the
run
enemy
past
AI
them.
is the teammate and enemy AI is still stupid.
Yeah, it's just
and
not there.
for me, it's almost unforgivable in this day and age of live service games to have a bug, that known bug in your game for so long.
Yeah. I just...
I mean,
I know
it
it's
is
minor.
in the multiplayer. I mean, it's in the single player, which only a third of the players played. So
yeah.
it's probably further than most people got.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Shame.
just think the AI is still not that great. And
yeah,
on veteran,
I mean, yeah, it's always been bad.
on veteran,
Yeah.
you can see it for sure because people will be like aiming down sight and they'll let people run past them, and then those people kill me.
Yeah,
And I'm like, what the fuck
your
is my
teammates
teammate doing?
don't protect you.
Yeah, and the game knows that you need to die, so their buddies come back. So the game gets you, but the game doesn't
I
get
don't
itself.
understand
It's
if
like-
I want it to be immersive. Like it's like during the certain scenes, like doing the house clearing stuff. I know most of it's scripted. They're just going through their pre-selected paths.
Yeah.
And so, but that feeling though is so cool. Being a part of a team going room to room
Yeah.
house clearing, and there's a reason why that's a very liked level. One of the people's favorite levels is because of how clean it felt. But if only you could have your AI make it feel like you're a part of a polished, special forces team all of the time.
Yeah.
Where
yeah.
like you're trying to compete with AI of, who's doing a better, right? You're all pulling your weight. No, you just have a line of stupid AI who pop their head out every so often, but it's up to you to kill mostly everybody.
Yeah, it's super unrealistic.
No one's playing their roles. No one's keeping. No one's watching your back. And I don't know.
It's dumb. I think my favorite level, the house clearing one's really good, but I really like the sniping.
That one
with the
level
deer.
where you get into the hospital, where the wolf is, where you first capture them, and there's parts where you have to smoke down the hallway because they have an RPD location where, if you go out, you're going to
It's
die.
like gated off, yeah.
And then, if you run out of smoke, there you could usually get smoke from your teammates, right? So I'm sitting there, I'm like, shit, I might need some more smoke. And then I did the thing to like locate where some more might be, and I hear like a little voice off the distance. I'm like, huh, whatever, and it like had like the marker, hey, smoke is this way. So I go run over there, and it's the stupid fucking dude AI. He's like, hey, got some smoke if you need it. And he's sitting there fucking running in place against the fucking car. And I'm just like, oh my god, this is so fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Grab smoke from him and just leave him there running in place
It's like,
forever.
you're doing great. You're doing good work back here, pal. Yeah, there's some stupid AI, and there always has been in these games.
Yeah.
And honestly, it keeps them from being great. They're still pretty damn good.
I just
but,
want
like,
to have AI make it feel like you're part of a team.
Yeah, it doesn't make any
sense.
sense because you have a team, you have team cohesion, but there isn't any when it comes time to actually fight.
I kind of like my favorite mission was the one, like the second to last one, where you're sneaking through the whole Barkarov estate, at night, partially because you're the only one there.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's nice because it's like, well, it's been this way the whole time.
It's
actually
it's
this
been
way.
this way the whole time.
And every
but-
time, like, you feel like you're part of a unit, and they fucking send you, like, a Bradley, or APC, right? They fucking send you, like, a light armored vehicle and stuff like that. And you're, like, moving forward. But every time they send you an armored vehicle, at one point that's going to get shot down.
It's going to get taken from you.
It's like 100% of the time infantry in COD games are more effective than armor.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It's a trope that they have. The tank's always going to die. No matter what happens, tanks
It can't just be like, okay, the tank's needed somewhere else to make this part harder, or you're going inside, so it's going somewhere else. Like, the tank has to die. It's like, why drive these things? You guys die every time.
Yeah, every single time you go out, you never come home.
I'd give it an 8 as well. I really like the gameplay. Some of the missions were fucking fun. online. It's pretty cool. I do like that they have they let you do different.
At first, we were kind of mad
for
at
kill
the
streak stuff.
at the difficulty of the Spec Ops. We realized it was just punishing us for being stupid.
Well, yeah, it's because it doesn't explain what you're trying to do.
I mean,
like,
kind of. You just have to listen. And then when you're in a party, the party's louder than the game, and as they're going over stuff.
Yeah, I had to mute people for a while doing the story. It's like,
and then I think we just kind of missed what we were supposed to do at one point, and then we finally figured out what we were supposed to do, but by then too late. The game was like, you guys need to die.
Yeah, we figured it out on our own because the other two guys were just like holing up in a room being assholes.
I think you would like it, that at least that game mode, and since Craig and I know what to do, you won't have
on one mission anyway.
And it was so funny how long it took and how often we'd go down and we were all out of ammo, just scrounging ammo from the guys we were killing. And then when we finally realized what to do and just breezing through, I'm like, dude, this is so much fucking easier when you play the fucking game.
yeah.
It's disgusting.
Nice. I look forward to playing that.
Yeah.
So next category, graphics and design.
Graphics were great during cutscenes.
Yeah, Uncanny Valley a couple times, I'd say. With the two chicks, especially when they were talking back and forth.
Maybe I didn't get too much of that. No. But Captain Price's face, that was a work of love. That was a master.
I thought the same thing.
A master painter designer.
I was like, holy fuck! Like whenever I saw like a close up of his face, and then they did like some of the muscle twitches, like when he'd smile for a second, and then like it would move each individual fucking hair in his beard and mustache. I was like,
that was like a fucking work of art.
Fuck.
You know how people have their own expressions that they will do, and Captain Price had that expression where he'd like kind of tilt his face down, but he's still looking up at you kind of way, but it has like little smile on his face. Kind of made him look almost like a Muppet, but like like a human way. Like sometimes we have these expressions that make us look stupid a little bit, but that very human character to him. It was like a serious, like almost kind of half smile, but. I don't know. It was great. Just like everything they did with him, no Uncanny Valley. They just did a really good job with Captain Price, which is good because he is everyone's favorite character.
Yeah,
they didn't put as much love in other characters. They just look like standard. Put a
lot
CGI.
of work into Alex's mustache.
Yeah, Alex is another one they put a little more love in. Farah they did a little bit too during the cutscenes.
Hadir is just kind of cash.
Hadir, yeah, they did
He's got
somewhat.
a great sniper, though.
Especially later Hadir in the game. They didn't put as much love. Barkarov, they didn't put as much attention to.
Yeah.
As far as design. Yeah, you can, it's like, I just almost want to put side by side of different close-ups of these different characters and just above and beyond how they went on Captain Price.
Yeah, and they did a lot of work.
They spent so much more money animating Captain Price than they did any other character.
I mean, the whole Modern Warfare series is kind of about him, if you think about it. Like, the way 3
You never really
ends,
play as him, but you always watch him.
You only play as him after everyone else is dead.
Yeah.
Because then in 3, you remember, do you guys play 3, right?
Yeah.
That fucking final mission is so fucking badass in 3, dude. It redeems all of 3's like, this game's okay. Because everyone dies, and then you go in as a juggernaut with the LMG, and you just kill everybody.
The 3 characters...
Fucking sweet.
Really, the 3 characters, you might argue 4, but in my opinion, it's these 3 characters who really drive the story of the game, the emotional aspect of it, is Captain Price first, Farah second, Alex third.
Yeah.
And then somewhat of the Gaz character. He kind of has some, but not to the extent. Captain Price is there. That's why they put so much money into him. He is the one who drove part of the most of the emotional story part of the game.
Yeah.
So
they did great. I love his character design. I totally agree. He looks great. I mean, Uncanny Valley is when it seems real. That's what
Uncanny Valley is when it seems real but off at the same time.
Yeah, it's so real that it's fake. Is kind of what it is. And I only had that a little bit. So it's not the best.
Well, it's not so real. It's like they it's almost real, but there's always something.
Or like
off.
they hyper focus on something and it makes it look weird.
Where
like in
Andromeda,
in Death Stranding. Like you remember where Mama was like under the rubble and then she like opens her mouth weird and you could see all of her teeth.
Yeah,
like that part is super weird. That's the Uncanny Valley type thing.
Uncanny. And then in Andromeda, where they had a really like good graphics, but then they never got down the face movements correctly in the animations, and so the smiles and everything was like fucking off. That's Uncanny Valley.
Oh, see, I always thought it was just when it kind of blurs the lines between reality and fake.
No, because you'd have Uncanny Valley every day walking around.
Well, no, because this is real. This is a video game looking so real that it almost looks like a normal person. That's what I've always thought it was.
No, that's the achievement, but it's just like it's real in the approaching realness, but things just don't work. It's off.
That's kind of what I'm saying. It's like so real, but it's not. It's like this weird area in between. Like something isn't real, but your brain almost thinks that it is. It's weird. It looks really good, though. It's a really good-looking game. The in-game stuff is great. I didn't find any graphical glitches, really, or anything like... Oh, no, I did one where, like, a dude was through a door, and then he killed me. That was fucking dumb, and I couldn't shoot him. But that's more
in the
gameplay.
game, especially in Spec Ops, when they send trucks after you, if you just blow up a truck, like, everything besides the tires disappears when a truck blows up. So it's like you blow up a truck, the body, the truck body disappears, just completely gone.
Just tires.
And you see the enemy's ragdoll and tires roll away.
That is true. That's weird. Huh?
It's just like it just stopped existing.
How did the rubber and the body survive, but not the metal?
It's not like the metal is mangled and stuff. It's just gone. And the people are now laying on the ground. And they were just in a truck before, but now they're on the ground. That's to me, I feel should be a graphical glitch, whether or not it is or isn't.
Yeah.
So, game art and design, it's gotta be a fucking 9 for Captain Price's face alone. Everyone else could be fucking
7s, 6s.
Everybody else could be stick figures, and you'd still think that. Cause
No, it's like seriously. Seriously, it's just like side by side. Everyone else in the game.
Really seen it? He's just like
side by side. Everyone else in the game. Maybe Alex a little bit in his mustache, but Captain Price, above and beyond, has had so much more work going into his design than any other character.
It's like every time you see Captain Price, it's like that, like the ending scene of like Hercules, where he's like glowing with like the god aura. And everybody else is normal, but then it's like, oh.
Yeah.
So that's Captain Price.
Yeah, I agree. And I felt that when I was playing it, too. I was like, man, they did a really good job.
There's just something else special about him, and you can feel it because he's more well-designed, and because he's a fucking badass.
He seems more real than everyone else,
for
sure.
Yeah, they definitely put... Oh, man, it's like, I want to know how much more money they spent designing him than everyone else.
Dollar per dollar.
Dollar per dollar.
Dollar per pound, how much does Captain Price cost?
Who designed Captain Price?
Yeah.
Who did this thing that... I think I'd give it a 9 as well, pretty much just for the same reason.
Yeah, I'll do that, too.
Otherwise, I'd give it an 8, but, I don't want to give 8s across the board.
Fucking Captain Price, man. He's fucking so good.
All right, sound and music. Guns sounded good. Voice cast, I think, was really good.
Yeah. Voice acting is really
Captain
good.
Price.
Yeah. Definitely a higher budget. I listened to the soundtrack again last night, and it's actually really good. I think the soundtrack...
I mean, you did name it, or your tagline for this episode.
Yeah, the Angry Cellos.
Angry Cellos, or Angry Strings.
Yeah, Tom Selleck and the Angry Strings.
The music
One
and everything
thing you
is
guys
good.
might not have noticed, because you can't get this kill streak because they're not good enough, is when you get the Juggernaut kill streak...
You're a piece of shit.
They have... I'm pretty sure it's Metallica that plays when you put it on.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and you can turn the music on and off. Let me see. Juggernaut.
So the lady who did the soundtrack, her name's Sarah Schachner or something like that. She also did Assassin's Creed Origins, Anthem, and Assassin's Creed Unity soundtrack. So I'm actually really impressed with this soundtrack.
Origin is pretty good. So
let me see. I heard someone saying it was Metallica, but Jug Music, MTX, give me. But it's just metal music that plays when you're the Juggernaut.
For music, I don't know. I had to turn down the sound, like in game, to about 40%. Because it was way too fucking loud. I don't know what it was.
Yeah, when you got into a party, you had to turn it down because you couldn't hear anybody's...
Well, it wasn't just like being in the party, but it was really fucking loud. Just like constantly. I had to turn it down just to like be able to hear it as a normal thing. Like otherwise it's too much. I don't know if you guys had that same problem.
I
with
did.
what?
I did, but just for parties. I couldn't hear anybody in the party. Cause
Yeah, I think that's more of a party balancer thing, which is why we missed certain pieces of information.
I don't... What?
So when we were playing Spec Ops, I think it prioritized the party so much.
No. I'm not talking about the party. I'm talking about the game's sounds and music being like way too loud to the point where I had to turn it down to like 40%.
Well,
so when you first set up the game, it goes through different ways of how loud you want it to be. And so at the beginning of the game, you can decide what kind of setup you're using, how loud you want.
Yeah, I played with it. So
I had it be headphones, and when I started, I was like, I immediately had to turn it down because I could hear fucking nothing but the game, just like fucking nothing. Like the music and explosions and shit were like way too loud.
Huh? Maybe some of the audio balancing wasn't as good as it can be. They will prioritize explosions and stuff, but you do have a mixer you can play with at the beginning, deciding what you want to be emphasized.
I don't know. I only remember picking headphones as my thing for the sound.
Yeah. I liked it, though. I thought the sound was great. The gun sounded beefy. Sounded right. Obviously, a lot of that's reused.
I didn't feel like anything was too special besides the voice acting, which was good, but some of the voice acting was standard. But besides, your star characters, of course, you can have them perform better. Is Captain Price worth an extra point or not?
I think I'd give it like a 7.
I was going to give it an 8, so I'm just going to give it an 8.
Okay, 7 from Craig, 8 from Cam. I'll give it a 9. The only reason why I won't give it a 10 is because I do think some of the voice acting is pretty stock.
Yeah.
But I think that soundtrack, I listened to all of it last night, and I think it's actually a pretty good game soundtrack. I like the stringed instruments they used. It's pretty upbeat. It's pretty cool. And I like what they did with the main theme. That was really cool when we got that in the game, and I was like, "Oh yeah, bringing back the old days of Call of Duty,
just playing
Modern Warfare,
on those nostalgia strings for you."
Yeah, playing with my nostalgia balls. They did a good job of that,
especially with that Avengers trailer at the end.
Yeah, that was fucking cool. So dumb, but it was so awesome. Because the whole time you don't know if it's a prequel or you don't know that at all. You just think, "Oh, well, it's a reboot of Modern Warfare." And then it's like, oh shit, it's totally a fucking prequel, and it's way cooler because of it.
It's still probably a reboot, but but we haven't gotten to the same material as the other.
Right, it's a reboot of the series, but a prequel to the other games, and it's so cool because you don't know until the last second, and you're like, oh shit, oh that's cool, and I hope you're right,
and you don't even realize that like Garrick is Gaz until the end either, because then he's like, oh yeah, his nickname is Gaz.
Yeah.
Like, oh fuck, I was playing as Gaz.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fucking sweet, and like it all just comes together. And I think you're right. I think they'll probably reboot the rest of them, which is cool.
They set it up to do it, so
I don't see why not. And I don't think it's cheap and taking an easy way out because they did a really good job with this one, and I think it's probably going to continue. So replayability. This is a first-person shooter,
so replayability is 10. Just so much stuff I haven't done yet.
You're going to give it a 10 straight up?
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, for us, it's replayability for us. How likely are we going to replay this game? And for me, it's 100%, so 10.
Yeah, there's reasons too. There's the drive
and there's things to keep coming back for.
Yeah. There's a lot for this because
we only touched the surface of Spec Ops.
Yeah, you guys don't even know how the
there's a lot of game modes just in multiplayer. Like there's the infection. There's now gun game. There's a bunch of other things to do: search and destroy, domination, ground war, fucking a whole bunch of stuff just in the multiplayer. Then of course they have Spec Ops, classic Spec Op missions, survivor mode. There's a lot to do in the multiplayer aspect. So yeah, there is a lot. So I would give it a 10 as well.
Yeah, I agree. There's no doubt. This is what these games are made for, and if this score doesn't get a 10, then there's a problem. Because, I mean, shit, I've already played it for like 20 hours online, like just straight up, and I'm not even that. I'm not even close to being done. This is going to be my multiplayer for a while. I mean, my multiplayer shooter, at least the quick kill people one. I'm still going to play other stuff that's multiplayer, but This is the one. And like I sat down to play the campaign, and I played multiplayer for like 2 hours. And then I went upstairs, and I was like, wait a minute, I need to play the campaign to this thing. And then I was like, okay, when I go downstairs, I have to play the campaign. And then I got down there, and I like started a team deathmatch. And I was like, God damn it. I always do this. It's like I want to play the online because I'm like, I'm almost to this unlock on this
When you
gun.
start it up, it always like starts on the multiplayer section.
Yeah,
too,
it knows
so
what
it's
you
like-
want. You know,
It restarts. It puts you on the section that you played last.
Oh, one thing that was really annoying.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh my god, one thing that was so fucking annoying is the cutscenes for multiplayer. You know, you like have to see like Mara or whatever her name is, the chick who like you kind of want to fuck, but the longer you look at her, the less you want that.
So which
is
one is
only-
it?
this
Which
is
who
only
is
true
it?
of you.
I played the campaign.
It's the
I
chick
remember
with
him
black
saying
hair.
that.
She's not in the game.
It's not. She's not in the story. She's like one of the operators. It's Mara. She's like the Arab chick in the
with the black. She looks like she's kind of gothy.
coalition, I think.
Okay,
But like at first I was like, oh, she's kind of smoking. But then the longer I looked at her, I was like, man, her mouth is like the whitest mouth I've ever seen. And now I'm like disgusted by her. It's like it's this 180 that's happened to me. Like the more I look, the more I am afraid. But yeah, dude, there was a fucking every time Craig would start the game and he would not listen to me.
It's this chick right here.
It would start the game. He would start a multiplayer game, and I'd have to watch this cutscene. And I didn't realize you had to hold X forever before it told you that you're skipping, or it doesn't let you. I'm not sure which is true.
Which game mode forces you to watch cutscenes?
Online when
Okay,
you go online.
So when you first started up, you remember how like it introduced Nikto or whatever that guy with that one video.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for some reason it was glitching on Schweiss, so it'd show it to him every time we started a
I
game.
couldn't look at my stats. I couldn't look at the game mode. I couldn't change my character, my guns. It was just like, and the game would start so fast that I couldn't get through that fucking cutscene. And then eventually I was like, Craig, do not start the game. I have to watch this fucking thing. I'm sick of watching the first like 30 seconds of it. Just give me a minute here. And then it never showed it again. But I was like, Craig was just like, all right, let's do the 2v2s.
Maybe I don't have her. Do you have to like buy the battle pass to unlock her or something?
No.
No.
You just have her, I think, or you
Oh,
unlock
you
her in
unlock
one of the
her,
ways,
yeah.
Do you unlock her for playing the campaign or
No, I think it might be part of the battle pass. I'm not sure if she's one of the ones you have to buy it for or if you just unlock
No,
it
I don't think she is. I think you just
through the
get her
levels.
for doing something.
Yeah,
Because some of them were like, one of them was beat the campaign, and then another one was like, get 25 executions, and another one is like, get 200 LMG kills and stuff
I have
like
to
that.
look.
Yeah, but dude, it was endless. Like me stuck in this fucking loop, and Craig just would relentlessly. It's like learning. It's like
well, because at first you were like, it's making me watch this video, and I was like, what fucking video are you talking about?
yeah, and then I was like, I started getting mad because
it took him forever to like explain it enough that I was like, oh, it's that one Nikto video. Like I didn't realize it was like glitching on.
yeah.
it.
See, because when I joined multiplayer, you guys were already ready to play. When Craig joined it, he was probably just joining it to play with people online, not to play with people who were starting the game in 2 seconds. So I was just stuck. I was stuck forever, and I was like 5 rounds of like I want to fucking change my classes. I want to play with this. I've got all these unlocks, and I'm using this fucking iron sight submachine gun.
You can
and it's fucking
change your
painful.
stuff in game now.
I didn't
which
realize
is
that though
a
until
fucking
later.
fantastic change.
It is, yeah. It's really nice. Like on Spawn, you can change all your equipment.
Yeah.
So good stuff. And I enjoyed it greatly.
Yep.
So 10 out of 10 out of replayability. Let's do the recap. You guys got anything else you want to say?
No.
I'm
I
good.
think it's worth the buy. I think
Yeah.
it's a game that you should pick up if you like shooters.
If you like shooters, competitive shooters,
We'll be playing it for a while, I think.
definitely.
It looks like every other week they add either like a double
swap
XP
game modes,
weekend
yeah.
or like XP week, double XP weekend, stuff like that, and then
leveling
they
up. They
also-
give you a lot of like leveling up tokens, even if you don't have the battle pass.
Yeah. They've balanced the battle pass, the paying for extra and not paying for extra pretty well, I'd say.
Yeah, and then you also get a bunch of different game modes swapped out every week, which is really cool.
Yeah. I think you guys should pick it up if you like FPSs, and we'll play with you. It's been fun. It's been a good time with the listeners.
They've also added a lot of the older like maps from the first Modern Warfare, and
Yeah.
I think they're going to do it for the other ones, like Modern Warfare 2 and
I hope so.
3 and stuff, which will be fantastic.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm fine with games doing. I like each game to have their own identity to come back to, but maps are free game, and I can't wait for like Seatown, and High Rise.
High Rise
and Rust.
Fucking Rust, yeah.
Shipment's basically Rust with more.
Well, Shipment's already in there, so.
Yeah. I hate that fucking map, but yeah. I'm excited to see where we go from here. And they've kept putting out new content. They keep coming out with new game modes. I mean, it's still pretty new, but I'm confident they're going to continue doing that. And I'm excited to keep playing. So, recap the scores. Story, 9 from Craig, 8 from me and Cameron. Gameplay, 8s across the board. Graphics and design, 9s across the board. Sound and music, 7 from Craig, 8 from Cameron, 9 from me. Replayabilities, 10 all the way across the board. Total combined score of, 9, 18, 28, 35, 46 out of 50 from Craig. 16, 24, 34, 43 out of 50 from Cameron. 16, 36, 44 out of 50 from me. Really? Craig gave it the highest scores. 6, 2, 1.
How? It shouldn't be that different because I only moved 1 point over from.
2, 4, 7. Oh, yours is 43. Sorry. So it's 43, 43, 44.
Okay, there we go.
That makes way more sense. I was looking at it, I was like, wait, this is wrong.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm not too different. Like, what the fuck?
So that's 120.
Just slightly off.
130 out of 150. Or, I mean, basically 86 out of 100. Give or take like a quarter of a point. And the Metacritic score, 80 out of 100 for PlayStation. So we like this one a little bit more. I think it's going to win some... Oh, it already won a Game Award for Best Audio Design. That I agree with. And it won a Hollywood Music and Media Award for the original score. I think the score is really good. That's one thing I've started to do, guys. I know I mentioned this before. The night before we review a game, I've started at work to listen to the soundtrack of that game.
Okay.
And I think it's a cool way to, like...
Yeah, it's definitely something, to...
Because I log the HOG, too, so I get some points for it. And there are, HOG League, that thing that, the HOG that you guys don't fucking do. But I kind of justify it both ways to kind of get a more well-rounded feel for this soundtrack. Because you don't always... Sometimes it gets annoying because you hear the same thing over and over because you're replaying missions.
Some things in soundtracks aren't always like in the game or movie.
That too, yeah. They make a big soundtrack for the game and they don't use all the pieces. So it's cool to see like what they chose to use and what they didn't. So it's a good thing to do, I think.
Or they're in different places, like they could be in Spec Ops or they're in whatever else.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's it for us. Thank you guys for hanging out, and let's do some more HOG League. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to HOG League semifinal round. All right, I guess semifinal. It's like whatever. It's the one before that. So this week we had Stepmotherfuckers on a bye week. We had Most Offensives against The Doesn't Counts, and then Abrat cracking that fucking whip against Dylan. And Stepmotherfuckers obviously move on to the next round. Most Offensives take out The Doesn't Counts. 340 to 286. Top Most Offensive is Troidal Power. Top Doesn't Count Igloo Smasher. So that will eliminate those guys for the playoffs. Abrax Whip strikes true once again, 540 to 436. The top whip cracker was Alec, and the top D-ROM, Simon Parker, as usual. So, next week, guys, we're going to give Abrac a bye week, and we're going to face Stepmotherfuckers off against the Most Offensives, and then we will have the final round of HOG League, and then we'll start the season all over again. So guys, get in, log your HOG, and we'll see you guys again next time. And remember, even if it's not even if you're not that in the league still, just still hog your stuff, because it gets harder and harder the more behind you become. So keep that in mind, and we'll see you guys again next time. Enjoy live always in the nude. Not enjoy the grind. Live always in the Jesus Christ.